action.
Hi everyone, we are here. Yay! Oh, I forgot to grab my drink. God damn it.
Well, I can't unlive, Stuart. That's the problem with being so efficient. We're efficient is that we're too efficient.
We're not too efficient. We're actually on time for once. Yay!
Despite Skype being a little bit of a...
Right. I'm gonna go grab my drink. I'll be right back.
Okay. Hi everybody. How is everyone doing today? It's another long day of filming. Just finished editing tomorrow's video, which will be on the new D7. No one could have predicted that. And then Sunday is going to be our prediction video, episode 13, because boy, some stuff is going to kick off in 13. Real exciting stuff. And here we're talking about episode 12. Hopefully you guys have watched the review as it's been released so far, because that was released just about an hour ago. Almost 1,000 views already. Lots of thoughts in that one. But let's see what the chat says here. Hello. Hello, Michael Kirst. Hello. Real D7, yes. OMG on time. Well, you know. I love that shot where Samuel took a still. Loving it. I shall show it was much too brief. Don't know what you mean. Organ the Trekyard.
I'm better now. So what's everybody saying?
Ligious high.
Oh, well, how dare they? That's rude.
Oh, that's interesting. Tenzig said, I was kind of like the portrayal of Pike's accident. In TOS it sounded as if he chose to sacrifice himself. He looked as if he just stood in the room where it happened.
Apparently, yeah, he was supposedly rushed into the room to save the cadets. So, yeah.
I mean, I always visualized, ironically, something really basic. Just literally in my head, I just visualized a door, and he throws them into a door, has to close it on them to save them, and then it radiates him. So pretty actually close to what we see, just not the crap room. So actually, I did
And Firefighter 09100 puts in $2. Thank you very much. Happy first contact day. Yes.
Yeah.
Happy first contact day. Live long and prosper.
And Alexis says, has Commander Cockings been rummaging around in the Jeffries tubes behind Astrometrics again?
Why?
I don't know what that's a reference to, do you?
No.
You alright, mate? You fine? So yeah. We had a long day filming. Long day editing. I quite like our review. Everyone should go check it out. D7 is going to be a good piece. But lots to talk about, and boy, you know, it's nice to have a season of TV like that where I'm really eager to see each new episode. And it will be sad when there's no new episodes. But I think we really need to...
Though?
Well, in the sense that that's their chance to do good. Like, that's the end of their run.
Yeah.
But then it'd be great to then go back and watch it again and see if it does truly connect, because it is different showrunners, different people.
Yeah.
I'm sure they rewrote scripts and reshoots. So we'd love to see if they actually did connect it fully. So I was trying to find a clip for something else, and I realised how heavy the "we need to find Spock" is. But really, that's not the most important thing. That now it feels that was over focused on when other stuff kind of, you know what I mean? Like, he's great, he's there, good. He was just to tell you that people are gonna die, but then they capture the mum anyway. So, like, that should have been 2 episodes less, maybe. Focus, give time for everything else. Like, this whole control thing's been like what? Real quick, whereas normally you set things up in episode 1. I know it's mentioned in episode like 2 and 3 a little bit, but it's too subtle, you know.
Yeah.
It'd be an interesting rewatch, I think. No, maybe not straight away. Give it some time to breathe. But
that being said, it's been nice the last 2 weeks because Orville hasn't been a new one. Next week it's a new one. Next week's also the one with the first episode with the Enterprise and stuff back. It's going to be a real annoying because it's going to be tight again for 2 weeks. And then we get a hiatus. We get some more Orville, but Discovery's done for a while, so
long time.
Yeah.
But we get Picard by the end of the year. Picard show, so they say. I mean, Alex Kurtzman's very sure about that, but that's the easiest show to go off the rails in terms of timing. You know, I mean, they've 10 times more pressure on that show than Discovery season 1. Because Discovery Season 1, they'd had a vision, they had a premise, they had sets. He got fired. The vision changed, the premise changed. And it's kind of like whatever it was, and Netflix was paying for it. Whereas this Picard show is like, Picard show, it's got to be... if you mess up Picard, you're actually messing up Patrick Stewart. There is no visual reboot of Picard. It's Picard. Like, oops. So, yeah. I just mean that, I not to be negative, I'm just saying that they will take time if they need to. I mean, come on, they delayed Discovery 7 months. And we still got what we got, you know.
Doesn't fill us with confidence.
But the fact that they're so confident about it being this year fills us with confidence.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So guys, do super chat. There's now 113 of you. Any amount of funds will really help the channel to keep going, to go on to the future, the far future. And we can do more shows like this, and hopefully look at other TV shows, other Trek shows, which would be great. And your super chats will show us that we can keep doing that and such. And Stuart, I will share this, and you can talk to the audience again.
Yes. Brian says, hey, Captain Commander, after Discovery, there's time for Cygnus, not Saladin. LOL. Used to be the Saladin chant, now it's Cygnus. I guess we got to talk about the black hole Cygnus ship. Right. Fair enough. Maybe next week we'll see the Enterprise bridge. Oh, we will for sure, Bill. It's in the preview for next week, so... Kailash is back, says Craig again. Kailash, yes. They have the flexibility to do a lot more with Picard because it is past on-screen canon. Many changes can be made without overly annoying the fan base. Yeah, unless they tie it in with Discovery or Kelvin.
Well, the thing about the Picard stuff is that it won't be then they broke canon. It'll be a case of, really did that with him, or really that. You know, we're not gonna complain because it doesn't make sense. We're gonna complain because it's either silly, or it links too much to Discovery, like you say. I mean, I've said for the last few weeks, how do you go 150 years past Discovery tech? Because either you keep TOS tech as the actual look of that time era, or you use Discovery and retcon it all out, which means TNG is no longer how it should look. All that stuff should be retconned out completely, and then what is post 150 years this tech? I mean, at that point, really, it should all just be in holographic rooms. Like, there's no reason to have consoles or blinky lights or buttons. I mean, it should be so future-y that we can't even really realise it. You know, at that point, it's just it's not even Trek anymore. You know, what's the point?
So Brian says, "Hey, Captain Commander, what are your sci-fi and Trek out of 10 ratings for this episode?" Well,
a little bit. I feel like that's right at the end.
Well,
sure, you can give you a summary if you want. For those few people here already.
I really liked this episode. I really enjoyed it. And last night on my first reaction video, I said I'm probably going to give it a 9 out of 10. After doing a review earlier, I still stand by that. So my review is 9 out of 10 for Discovery. For all sci-fi, I'm not going to break it up into what it is for sci-fi because I just hate doing that. It's just a 9 out of 10 for me. So Tanushi puts in €5. Thank you. It's Discovery Season 2 skimping on one-off sets. They're using locations and redress sets instead. Cathedrals, outdoors, insane quarters, and engine room. Yep. Noticed that quite a bit. Even the Section 31 ship is just reusing Discovery sets. And obviously so. The room that Leland gets assimilated in, if you want to call it assimilated, I shouldn't have said that, gets taken over in, is the same one as Pike's ready room and stuff. So,
but to be fair, you know, building the Enterprise bridge, that was a very expensive thing to have to do. When they did TNG, I think it cost like $100,000, $200,000 to make a bridge.
But they could have saved so much money. Just go to Ticonderoga, and it's already set. It's already done. It's exactly how it should look. Just saying, they could have saved a shit ton of money.
Well, they've had to repaint it Cage though, or Cage updated slightly. It would have to be in between
it's after the Cage. It's after the Cage, so it's fine to be the colors that it is.
You think? When you want to be clever and sort of in between, because you know.
No, they wouldn't have to paint it. They just change it with CG if they want to do that. they could do that after the fact, but
And obviously Stuart's joking, but in a very nice way. Like, we would have been totally fine with that, and they would have saved themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars.
yeah,
But we're not.
yeah, but they don't look good. Nobody would like it.
And we're not talking about the bridge much yet, because that's in the teaser. For next episode will be a separate video. We might have to do a live just on that bridge shot, because that's a whole discussion. You know, you can't get more iconic than the interior, except the extra, and we've already done that reboot. So we'll see in time. Still half sharing.
Yes. Chai Bacon puts in $10. A great episode. It reminded me of a movie in terms of pacing and production, plus the Pike future. I did like the new Discovery Bridge. Can't wait for next week. 9 out of 10.
Although he says movie, I think like an indie movie, low budget movie feel. It didn't feel like a movie budget to me with the amount of redress and just chats and hallways. I disagree with that quite strongly, but VFX was good as always, but it should be. It's an expensive show paying expensive VFX people, which is why they're skimpy on budget everywhere they can, so the final two can actually be something. And that's fine. It doesn't...
Yeah.
You know, they balance that wrong in the first couple of episodes, and then we're getting much more, you know, controlled effect usage in these episodes. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Brian, we'll talk about the Enterprise Bridge later. We don't talk about this episode first. The bridge is it's for next week, so we will discuss that after we're done our review or in a separate one, as Samuel said. Joseph Petrick puts in €2. Crystal meth can change everyone's future. LOL. Yeah, looks. That's got to be a meme of Pike. This is your brain, and then this is your brain on drugs with the melted Pike. That would be good. Any questions? Yeah, Ezri, I was thinking the same thing, hoping they find an excuse to go old school with the Enterprise Bridge. But they kind of doubled down on just everything in this episode, which kind of sucks. The Pike incident was great. Isn't it amazing that this show always gets better when it taps into the source material? Hey, yeah, exactly. Right?
It's like using Canon is a good idea.
Good thing.
It's not like every other show hasn't taught you that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's also cheaper because less R&D. You just say, right, create an alien like that. It's like, yes, sir, Mr. Sir. But yeah.
Let's get started.
Yes.
First scene, talking to her mom. Nothing actually happens. So next scene.
Yep. Lots of cheap scene. Doesn't matter. And then it's...
Oh, this is where we find out. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Nope. I was going to say what you were going to say, so you can say it.
I was going to say this is where we find out another signal has appeared over the Klingon planet of Borath, which is where the albino baby is in the monastery. And then they have a discussion about the fact that Burnham's mom didn't know anything about these. So who's sending them? Who's creating them? Oh, it could be another time-traveling entity. It's like, okay, that's a stretch.
Well, I think very plausible by Spock. I mean, there's only so many players.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't introduce a random new player 14 episodes in. You know what I mean?
But, and then Burnham jumps in with the speculating about them as unproductive and waste of time. And I was like, is that a stab at us? Is that a stab at the viewers out there that have been speculating on who the Red Angels are or who the Red Angel is? All these weeks leading up to this, it's almost like it's a little stab at us. Like, oh, you don't even bother speculating. We're going to screw with you anyway.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that, but I was just thinking that's really... I mean, I know she's been through a traumatic incident, but that's very out of character for her to be that snippy about something that's really important. Given that how many times in this season have they gone over the same... Yeah, you have to go find Spock. Where do you think Spock is? Where do you think Spock is? What do you think Red Angel is? What do you think Red Angel is? What's the red signals? They keep reiterating the same questions again and again and again, and now she's like, "Shut up!" It's like, okay.
Yeah. And this is where they basically say that they can't use Discovery to go after these things to stop Section 31 because Discovery's got the information that Control needs, so they can't use Discovery. So the first thing that I said was, well, I guess it's time to call in the Enterprise then. So I was saying that this early in this episode, because it makes sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, where we left off, Leland has a lot of the data and a ship, and he's Control now. He warped away unknown places. And so yeah, Burnham wants to go after him and kill, destroy, whatever. The proto control. Although really, it's just the same entity. Really, it's not as if there's much practical difference in that and the future version. And Pike's, we don't go because of the data. And then if for some reason it says it's our job to protect the data, it's our job to delete the data. Why is that protecting? Like, they already should have been trying to like destroy the data, even so much as just rip out the data core, computer core. Like seriously, it's weird, this focus of no, we need to protect it, despite your mum saying it's the only way to win. And if you did just destroy it, then it couldn't be its future. And this is also one of the little plot holes I felt that I read Burst has appeared, but Pike is so confident there's 7 again. It's like, so it's the exact same 7 that appeared at the start of the season, and you know roughly where they are, and why are you surprised? But if you know roughly where they are, then you should, you know what I mean? We'll talk about that later, but it's the red. I think they've forgotten how the red signals work, or they're sort of rejigging it a little bit, because he just seems so confident. There's 2 more, and by the end of those 2, we'll know exactly the plot. It's like, what? You're not a script writer? Stop thinking you know what's happening.
And where is it? God damn it! There was a comment here about who's in charge of who's commanding the Enterprise right now. Well, nobody. It's acting captain number 1.
Acting captain
She's
1
in charge. Yes, because it's under repair right now, so it's probably just finished up. So they need their captain back. But
although I'm assuming it wouldn't have taken this long to repair, so it must be getting some sort of update, some sort of refit. I mean, it's implied it's been months and months, and it's one of the pride of the fleet, and they're right there at Earth with all the space docks. I mean, it doesn't take you a million years if everyone's trying to repair it. I guess they're trying to rebuild their fleet too, but you would think a colony that's not that damaged would be a big repair.
Well, it's not the pride of the fleet yet, my friend.
But it's one of the 12
one of the ships.
But it's one of the 12 prides of the fleet. Is what
True.
I mean? It is one of the flagships.
Yes.
And when you've got running out of ships, you want your best capable ships able to work.
And Christopher Peterson puts in $10.
Oh, wow.
Today we replaced Discovery's regular time stream with Folger's time crystals. Let's see if they notice the difference.
Ooh, what's that reference to?
It's a commercial.
Oh, sorry. But thank you.
And Chive Bacon, $5. How long until the Enterprise F is available for shipping? You are lucky to have it already. Very jealous, LOL. I showed it off in my stream last night. I got the Eagle Mouse one. I need to do a review on it. I don't know. I also got another one that's a shop exclusive that hasn't been even available for pre-order yet. So.
And Robert Sarez said, hadn't Ash got stabbed at the end of the last episode?
Yes.
Wow. I mean, it's fine he's been healed, but to not even deal with that as a... They just love ignoring stuff, don't they?
Yeah, well, he was in an escape pod, so obviously he's fine. They just thermal regenerated him and on his way.
Although you would think if Leland Controller wanted to kill him, he'd just do more wound than that. I guess didn't want to kill him. I didn't even consider that, but yeah, they completely ignore that, because then it lessens the impact of that last episode. Oh my god, it hurts. I'm fine now. It's like, okay. I mean...
Well, I knew that was going to happen, though. I knew they weren't going to make a big deal about it. It's just what they do, unfortunately. Fleet Paw Swiftback puts in $4.99. Will number 1 get a name now? Very likely, yes. Hopefully.
I still hope not. You don't need to explain everything. It's like saying, what's the first race that started the Borg? The Ephraim. Oh, okay. Leave a couple of fun little... that's her thing, She gets that. Give her a character, give her motivation. But, no, let her be the one character that hasn't got a name that's a main character. Yeah. She's got that unique thing. What's the next scene?
Yeah, then we see Borath, and all of a sudden Spore jump in. It's like, really, you're Spore jumping again. All right, well, fine.
I mean, at least it's gone down from 500 jumps in last season to 4. That's good. But is that easy still? I can love how just... wasn't even a thought.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And then, then we get the whole scene of, I saw your face. What's going on? You need to tell me. I need to know. First of all, why do you need to know, Michael? Shut the hell up. You're not the most important person in the world. You don't need to know what's going on. And then without hesitation, he's like, oh, by the way, I got a son, yo. He lives there, yo. I couldn't tell you. But now I can, with no hesitation, just because, well, I wish you would have told me, because then you wouldn't have to deal with it alone.
What did he say? I can't tell you. Then tells her straight away.
He told her straight away. He said, "My son lives there."
All right.
And he says, "I couldn't tell you.
So what changed?
I couldn't let anyone know." It's like, exactly what happened.
Until you probed for 1 second.
Because she needed to know, because she's Michael Burnham. I know, that scene just pissed me off.
Didn't even pick up on that.
I couldn't tell anyone, he said. And she said, "Wish you had told me so you wouldn't have to deal with it alone."
Didn't even pick up on that. Huh.
And then his little smartphone goes off, and a Section 31 ship has missed its check-in. Wow. What a useful scene.
Why would he be alerted?
Exactly. Like every Section 31 ship, every hour has to check in. We hear that later, which again sounds remarkably stupid for an undercover super secret security thing, for them to check in every hour, exactly on the hour. This one was a few minutes late, it said, and everybody freaks the hell out. It's like, seriously? Wow. Well,
if its antenna was damaged and it had to...
Exactly.
So, what does this mean, that every single agent's personal bleeper goes off every hour and says, beep, great,
everything's fine.
All 32 ships are alive. And it's
10 bells and all is well.
But it's like, I'm the janitor. I'm just cleaning the floor. I don't have to know this. Yeah, it felt like a weird, contrived moment.
Yes.
It's just, and we'll skip to that payoff now, but the entire Section 31 ship plot for me is garbage. Like, utter garbage. It doesn't make any sense. It adds so little, except in the dialogue. But it's only got one purpose, and we'll get there in a long time. But it's just garbage plot.
Yeah.
And I didn't even consider, why is he getting the signal? I was just like, oh yeah, he'd get a signal.
Uh-huh.
Like, it would have made sense if because, Leland is stepping down in the sense of, taken over by a psychopath. It would have been great if he'd said in the briefing, a scene earlier, I've been put in temporary command of Section 31, or I'm the new, section leader, therefore he should get notifications. But he's literally a no one cares agent.
Yeah. And then this is the scene that ends with the very impactful, we've been waiting for it. Chancellor L'Rell has arrived aboard a D7. All right, cool. Thanks for the D7. And then...
Well, before we get to the D7, though, Burnham wants to go after, right, a Section 31 secret-ish powerful ship, by herself, to go after to go after a massive AI.
That's not yet. That's later.
Well, no, but it's still clear what's going to happen. Like, he's giving the information so she can utilize the information. So you can tell her ruminations are, I have to go solve this. That's her thing. But it's like, what can you do? Like, you can't do anything. Like, if Leland wants to stop you, and I'd say Leland is just control, he could. But more positive though, Stuart, the D7 is revealed mostly.
But is it? It's the same. It's such an awful shot. Again, I thought this was like a little slap in the face from these guys. Like, here's your D7 you've been whining about for so long. Some people didn't want to do it, but here it is.
Some people are confused in the comments. I don't really know why. You're not saying slap down, you don't like the design. You're saying a slap down how it was presented. You like the design, just not the context of how it was presented.
I love the design. It was just a piss poor announcement of this ship. It's the brand new D7. You'd assume that they hadn't seen it yet because they were just talking about building them in episode 3 of the season.
Yes.
So that should have had a nice warp in and a nice cruise by the camera as an introduction or something, not just by the way, the D7's here, guys. Oh, sweet. Let's just barely pan over it so you can kind of see it and not see it again for the entire episode. Yeah, it kind of pissed me off, but...
Yeah, they had so much extra time in this episode. They should have had a gentle flyby. And then, they were... we hoped last week it was on the bridge, and Saru's like, warp signature's coming out. And everyone looks, and Pike's like, ooh, that's a nice warship. And it comes in, and then... Pike
always stands up out of his chair and walks towards the review screen. Yeah. Perfect moment for it to take in this new ship, this new threat. Well, the Klingon, So
and then Tyler's on the bridge, and he said, and Pike turns to Tyler Vok and says, "So what is it?" And he's like, "It's the D7, the KDF's new battleship." And so it's like, the KDF, Klingon Defense Force. We're unified now, Saru. old news, and the audience can say, nice.
We should have got that information from Tyler. To be fair, the ship should have warped in, and Pike stand up, and Tyler be like, "Yep, that's the new D7 battle cruiser," and have the whole spiel from Tyler about it.
Yep. But still have him give very less than full information, because he can't exactly rat out his sort of people. You know, it needed a really cool beauty, especially since this ship is absolutely off production line. It's probably not even finished. You know, it's only had 6 months to build.
And Neomix, no, they should not have had the D7 uncloak. Shouldn't have cloaks.
Well, yeah, thank goodness it didn't. We said that last week, it might have cloaked, and luckily they didn't go that far. But as a design, I love it. I think it's absolutely excellent. And this is how you should visually update the era. You take the original design, you only change it 25%. Or 10%. You don't change 75%, leave 25%, which is the case of Watch the Other Ships. But yeah, good job, guys, and we really just hope to see more of it, because it was severely underserved.
Love it. We'll have an episode about it. Don't worry, guys. Joseph Petrick puts in €2. Hit the like and send money to Trekyards. Oh. Thank you, Joseph. And Fleet Swiftback puts in $1.99. Kind of like the Undiscovered Country with Kronos 1. Yeah, that kind of intro would have been cool. Seeing the view screen and have it like come into frame, like, and change its orientation to match. That would have been cool.
And the real Zam comments back to Neomix: Klingons didn't have cloaking technology. Klingons didn't have cloaking technology at this time. They got it in True with Romulans. Yes, but remember, this is the Discovery verse where they did have cloaks, but I'm sure they'll just forget about cloaks and never mention them again. Like, I'm sure they're just going to just ignore the cloaks. It's like, cloaking devices? Oh my god, that's a new technology. It's like, no, L'Rell. We used them for a couple of years earlier, right? Or a year. Like, all of our ships had them at one point. And he's like, shh, if we stop talking about them, everyone will forget.
Yeah. And Zarkon D. Grissom, a Trekyard show on what? 5 frames of D7? LOL. Yes. We can see most of the ship. There's a lot to talk about. We are the ship guys. We love talking about the ships.
Yep.
We can extrapolate quite a bit from this image. I just wish we would have had more shots of it so we could do a little bit more with it, but we'll see.
And hey, we talked about Mud's dad-in-law ship. We talked about all these sorts of ships. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So then we get L'Rell's epic appearance back on the show. And Stuart is impressed?
No, I'm not.
Stuart is passively watching L'Rell's scenes.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, all right, at least she looks a little more Klingon-like now.
And the English makes a huge difference. Her act, although I'm actually surprised by, there isn't much range in this episode of what they gave the actress. It's very by-the-book stuff, even her and Tyler. Because as you mentioned in our other review, she's sort of over it. And so it's very sort of like, yep, I'm here as I'm here. Yeah. So it wasn't much of an acting challenge, really. It was fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is where we get the reveal that this monastery also protects a rare mineral.
Don't say it. Don't
Only
say
on this
it. I'm
going to say it. I'm going to say it.
Okay.
Cocoa Puffs.
Okay.
Cocoa Puffs.
I thought you were going to say time crystals, and I was really worried. I thought you were going to say that. And I thought they were going to turn. I thought they were going to turn this ultra rare special thing that was created by fourth dimensional beings, and you assume there's only a few in the universe, and they couldn't be made, couldn't be found.
Daniel, I just checked my notes again. It does say time crystals.
Oh, for God's sake, I'm walking away.
That's exactly right.
But I can still talk to you while off camera, so keep going.
Oh, fine. Mutual survival, as Pike says, demands that we get one of these crystals. She says, I can't really do much. I'm not in charge there. I will arrange an audience, though. But we can't go. Tyler can't go. Why? Because we have a baby, or a kid.
Well, no, not just that, because everyone saw him. Everyone saw his head being ripped off. So kind of like that continuity of like, you can't go there.
Are you cloaked? Okay, cool.
So
Pike agrees to go. And
he insists to go almost.
Yeah.
Did you get the sense he could understand their Klingon?
Yes, I did.
Which I thought was going to respond in Klingon. I thought it'd be kind of fun.
It was based off of what they had said in English, and I think he was just interrupting them so they didn't have a little cat fight in his office. So I don't know if he really understood the Klingon or if he was just like, guys, so this is the way it is. Go piss off and go argue somewhere else.
I think he understood.
Oh, well, we got some more super chats. Hold on. Greg Ken puts in $2 Australian.
Thank you.
Sphere data plus Discovery computer plus time equals Calypso. Dun dun dun. Yes.
Maybe, Craig. Maybe. Yes, probably.
Gary
Hopefully.
Davis Jr. puts in $2. All in all, season 2 has been really good. I agree 100%.
It is on a downward slope, though.
It did have a little bit of a slump, a little bit in the middle, but yeah. Otherwise, it's way better than season 1, regardless.
I mean, season 1, I think, in retrospect, is like a 4. Season 2 is at least a 6 or a 7, and we'll see how it ends up. So it's gone from being a subpar to an average Trek season. You know.
So far, it's a 7, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, like an average Voyager season.
And Captain Spire puts in $5.
Captain!
Thank you. Do they realize by making the D7 like this and having cloaks already, they are pretty much undoing the Romulan Klingon tech exchange time crystals? Yeah, I don't think they realize that because they don't understand any of it, but that's okay. It's all side canon and people's head canon and not really real because it wasn't on screen, so they don't care. Is kind of the vibe that I get.
The problem is, though, as I said before, but the team that started Discovery, they set up the aesthetic for the Klingons, the ships, the Klingons, the cloaks. All these things was the original people, Brian Fuller, his directive. And then he might have paid it off in 4 years, 3 years. Might have, remember they said Bounce Terror Romulans are going to come in, like something with that.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
So that all started and broke the universe in God knows how many ways. And then they've just... Because they haven't used cloaks in season 2. To be fair, to their credit, no cloaking Klingons.
I think that whole talk about the balance of terror was the explanation for where the Klingon or Takuvama got his cloak. And that was Brian's original idea. And then he got shit canned or left. And the new team is like, the script says they have cloaks. So they got cloaks. Let's just go with that.
And they're not going to...
Invisibility screens.
Despite them calling them cloaking devices at least 24 times, it's incredibly inconsistent. So yeah, so I think they're just going to not ever use cloaks again and never mention it again and just say, oh, that never happened in season 1. And we're like, really? It was real important in season 1. That was the one advantage the Klingons had, though. Real important. Yeah.
And Eugene puts in 500 rubles. Don't remember if I'm early or late, but it feels mess hall and sickbay scenes were planned, filmed, and edited separately from the rest of the episode. Yeah, we haven't got to those yet. We will talk about those, but yeah, I could see them the way they were kind of short and thrown in. They could have been anywhere in any of these episodes.
Yeah.
So,
or reshoots.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how the engineer has sort of just popped up like 3 times. They could have they could have invented her as a character, reshot those bits, and inserted them throughout the season. I mean, it's totally possible. You know?
Maybe her sporadic appearance is all based on the fact that she's actually like an entity that's sent there from the Telosians. So sometimes they think she's there, sometimes she's not. They don't really.
So most of the time, people don't see her because she's not really there.
We'll get that reveal, yeah, because she was like I said, she was in the Spore room when they got Hugh. And exact same. So.
Yeah.
KG puts in $5 Canadian.
Thank you.
What was the point of arguing in Klingon? Wouldn't Universal Translator translate it for Pike anyways? Just saying. That being said, the Universal Translator has always been selective in what it translates, because Worf will suddenly say a Klingon phrase that it doesn't translate. That's just one of those tropes, Star Trek tropes.
And if you recall, whereas in TOS you had to have a very specific, unique device to do universal translation, and everyone else sort of spoke basic. In this universe, your communicator can, so they're speaking English until they're speaking Klingon. So the universal translators aren't currently active, except with humans, because we know in an episode that everyone's being translated into their own language. So, yeah, which is great, because it means everyone has that technology inside the ship. I'm fine with it. It happens all the time. That's the least of my problems. I like the escalation factor of that as a concept.
And just, I'm not complaining, but just as we get to the end of the super chats, all of a sudden we get like 3 more. So we got to catch up on these real quick. So let's just make these quick and concise, and then get on with the review. Fleet Paw Swiftback was in $4.99. The time crystals are a big eye roll. Whenever I heard L'Rell state that, I was like, ugh. I was too, until they kind of rectified it later by saying that most Klingons believe it's a myth.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh, this is going to piss people off. But everybody's going to say, like, why didn't the Klingons just, every Klingon commander just show up at this planet, steal a time crystal, try to take over the Empire, and or defeat the Federation?
The problem with that, though, is that even if most do, it's the same as Section 31. Most don't know it exists, but they can do a lot of damage with those that do. So it's sort of irrelevant if 99% don't know. If, all of the Chancellorship will, all the High Council will, top military professionals will, people that visit it's still hundreds and hundreds of people that will, and any one of them could use it or not use it. So it's not a secret to those that need to know. It's just not known for most people.
And it should be pointed out that, yes, in Endgame, Janeway did go get a chronoton deflector from a Klingon scientist, so whatever. Could be related, could not be related. It's just nice.
All time tech might be related. Anorax might have used a time crystal in the Delta Quadrant to run his thing.
And apparently there's crystals in the Discovery opening that have been there all along, so these have always been a thing. And it's not dilithium crystals in the opening. It's the same green kind of crystally.
Well, they're in it since season 1, so I can't. That's a gentle little retcon.
It could have been an overarching plan.
Well, I guess time crystals were in season 1, but it was an armband, not a crystal.
Yeah.
Well, it's a crystal armband, but.
And Sean Craig Parkinson puts in £10 with no comment.
Oh,
but thank you very much, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
And Troy Macy puts in $4.99.
Hi, Troy.
It's like the time crystals are skipping the scenes that shouldn't be in this episode. Like the time crystals are skipping the scenes that should be in this episode. Is
that a compliment to the episode?
I don't know.
Feels like it must be.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So we get past the scene, and now we get Burnham in basically lens flare the scene. That stood out to me as a But I guess how do you make a walk and talk more interesting? Let's put down to the floor lens flares and a ceiling, and it's just can I go on the mission by myself to go after Leland's ship? Woefully inadequate as a. It seems a bizarre plan. At least you'd send all of your shuttles armed with Makos or the equivalent, or any other ship, or ask L'Rell and her ship to go with you as escort.
And I think this is a bit of foreshadowing here. This is where we forget the. This is where we get the whole every Section 31 ship checks in every hour. Blah blah blah. Got to go check this out. And she's like, I thought this would have been more difficult to get approval from you. And he's like, well, now, since my evolution, whatever the hell he calls it, I'm kind of a new captain now. Could be the result of whomever or whatever created the signal over Kaminar. That's why I think it's still going to be Burnham that's responsible for some of these red signals somehow. Could be a little bit of foreshadowing there. But it was just a nice little touch.
Oh, yeah. They're being gentle with Saru's ness. Because, the fact that now we've asserted that Michael's mum isn't responsible for the red signals, that every single red signal has actively given them a trick up their sleeve for a future situation. And to be fair, even the red signal got them to the sphere with the information. So that was a big coincidence. She put the creature in their way, and also red signal got them there. And so, for this, Pike says right at the end, he says, we've all got a part to play in this. Which is a weird thing to say, given that they're asserting that time is being changed all the time by the mum, was changed all the time. So it's weird to say that there is fate, and yet time's always being changed. Doesn't quite go hand in hand there. But, the greater plan of whoever's doing the red signals has put, him here, him here, him here, him here, and Saru has to be not scared to be able to, although, side note, if the Red Angel, Michael's mum, isn't linked to the Red Bursts, then why did the Red Angel go to Kaminar since Michael was not in danger of dying?
Exactly. That's why I think the Red Angel that goes to Kaminar to save the Kelpians is Michael Burnham at some point in the future after they get the suit back.
Because that does kind of disprove that one.
Yes.
Huh.
And it stops and pauses to look at Saru and his sister, like, "Hey, how's it going? Bye." Odd choice. Yeah, I kind of said that for a while now, though.
Yeah, well, it's just we're getting less. Now we know there's so few episodes left, so that the reveals are getting less and less. You can't do as many reveals now, as many twists, and so we're like slowly closing in on the actual plot of the story, and it's like, oh, there's another little thing to answer. I'm not gonna say plot hole, we're not there yet. But But again, I find it bizarre that Burnham thinks it's a good idea to go after the ship herself, by herself, in a shuttle that's super incapable. I mean, Leland's setting the wrong ship can just hit you and blow you up. You know what I mean? She's not the smartest woman in the scene right now. Her I need to go after them is totally whatevering. You know?
Yeah, it's her Burnhamness that's getting in the way.
Well, it's her anger, as she says a little bit later.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into that, too. Troy Macy puts in another $1.99. Thank you. Hit the like button, he says.
Yeah.
Please, guys, hit the like button. 276 of you watching. We should have 200 likes easily.
And how many are we at, Stuart?
I have no idea.
Okay, let me find out for you.
Because I'm in the live window, so...
83, and I just put one in. Come on, guys. Click that like button. Click that like button.
Yeah.
Click
so
it
the next
all.
scene is the monastery. You see Pike enter, and a very cool-looking monastery. I think it's probably the University of Toronto, but that's okay.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. The architecture inside.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But here we find out about the Timekeepers and the Bogkud, which are what they call the time crystals. I didn't have my captioning on, so I didn't know what they called it.
You gotta.
Yes. We get the whole conversation about anybody that comes for a crystal and leaves with one, leaves at a great cost. They always leave broken.
Well, yeah, everyone. It says, if you come for the crystal, always you will die. Like, you'll go insane always. It's a kind of a weird.
We just let anybody come in. They have the choice whether they want to or not. And yeah, 15 a day usually, but we're keeping a tally. We're keeping receipts. We have names, so when the authorities come, we can say, look, this asshole bought one. This mud guy.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird scene because at the same time they say, no, you can't go there. And then Pike says, fate of the universe. And they don't ask for any evidence. This human that's randomly come, it's such a, at least, what?
Bill Barkley said it. So if we're getting close to the cage, I wonder what.
Oh,
the cage is already
passed. Sorry, you zoned out there. What? Sorry.
You said the cage is already passed.
Mm-hmm.
Cage is already passed 3 years ago.
What was his point? Sorry, you cut out is what I'm asking.
Well, he said if we're getting close to the cage era, when...
No, long past.
Yeah, I know. He said, so if we're getting close to the cage, I wonder when next season will be set compared to TOS.
1 year closer to TOS.
Cage is way past, so...
I guess would be 6 years until TOS if we go until next year.
Yes.
Yeah, it was about 20 months for the Klingon War Season 1 arc, and we assume about a year for this. So 2.5 to 3 years. Anyway. So this is a bit of an odd scene, like I say, because it's not a challenge to go further. I mean, I get the whole fate thing makes it easy, but it just seems really. I mean, do you really think these Klingons would let a human ever have one? You know what I mean? Should we really give our enemies, as of 8 months ago, a time weapon? And even though they say everyone goes crazy, it's like we could just kill this guy. There's no reason to humor him. It seems a bit of an odd.
It does. But
I guess L'Rell gave them a. But it.
I was going to say, considering Chancellor L'Rell was the one that set up the, must be important, even though she doesn't really have any influence over the monks. But at least they're willing to listen, I think.
Is it still worth the risk, though? It feels a bit.
Well.
I assume did you notice? But this chap, spoiler, L'Rell and Tyler Vox's son, all grown up. The headband makes him look like a Minbari from Babylon 5.
Sorry, I thought the same thing. Yeah,
it's really absurdly similar. It's like, oops. And didn't you think?
And it's the same actor that played Core.
Yes, and the uncle at the start who took over, or the other house guy. And did you notice Pike was in winter garb?
Yes.
Yet there's volcanoes outside, lava.
Yes.
Why is he in?
Because reasons.
Cool. But I like this guy's performance. I think he's good to add a different flair to it. Being this weird monk guy. And did you notice, Stuart? They redesigned the Klingon batleths. Finally, these are new batleths.
I just figured they weren't new. I figured they were ancient ones that these monks have.
But you would have thought they used the ceremonial ones from last season. The ceremonial ones. No, these are much nicer batleths. Yes. They have better grips. They have better. You can't stab yourself with them.
Well,
mean,
you can, but
well,
not the way the other ones were.
but they are.
I know what you mean.
Marked improvement.
Yes.
Yeah, the first seasons were awful.
Yeah.
Awful. I mean, fun but awful.
Next scene is the shuttle bay where she's getting ready and Spock shows up and she's like, "No, seriously, it's fine. I don't need you. It's fine." And it's like, "Hey, brother. Hey, sister. Hey, let's go." Quick scene, but again, he's still not in uniform. I'm like, what's up with this dickhead? He's in Starfleet. He should be. Anyway.
Well, I mean, let's be fair though. Star Trek 3 Spock didn't go into uniform for the trip home.
That's because his uniform was aboard the Enterprise. That's a little thing that's in the novel. He apologizes for misplacing his uniform in the movie, and Kirk doesn't have the heart to tell him it was aboard the Enterprise when the Enterprise self-destructed above Genesis. That's why you don't have a uniform, even though it's 3-4 months later. He could have fabricated one with a replicator, but
I mean,
it's in the novel.
They are on one of the center worlds of the Federation.
I know that's another. Well, it's another kind of.
I mean, Saavik, I'm sure, isn't wearing the same uniform she got 6 months ago. I'm sure they just made her in. Just go to the Starfleet store. I mean,
yeah.
So I think if he doesn't bother getting a uniform in that movie because he's a bit mentally out of it, I guess there's precedence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got 4 more super chats.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Tanushi puts in €2. Google Mingon eggs. I'll have to do that later. Eugene puts in 300 rubles.
Hi, Eugene.
Lord Elrond and Space Elves of Khazad-dûm. Never thought I would say something like that about Klingons. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, I guess the new Tyler Vox person looks like someone from a fantasy. And it's like, wow, even more confusing looking, maybe.
Oh. Fleet Paw Swiftback with $1.99. Thanks, Kailash, for the new ballast.
So,
yeah, so he dipped some more of his hair in the.
But Stuart, let's do it in the full accent. If you would start, do the full super chat in a full accent.
I can't do the. Thank Kailash. I can't. Sorry, you got to do it.
Anash at the end. Shanks kush for shnoosh bayak. Anash.
Makes me laugh every time.
Because it's Kailash, not Kailash. Starting a sh at the end. So let's add a sh. Stush. For
Kailash. All right.
Discover.
Troy Macy puts in $4.99. And Tyler's son looks like the Wraith from Stargate Atlantis.
Yep.
Well, I would have said Wraith, but he spelt it Wrath. There's an I in Wraith. But I'm just saying.
But I'll say it now though. I think having him as a grown-up son is actually a really fun plot twist, like a teeny one, because then it takes out the so whatever happened to the son, it doesn't matter. He's this guy. Cool. Like it answers a question that someone might have in future seasons, and it's not one that's meant to be important. It was just a plot point to get Tyler off the ship. Like it was just to progress. So answering the question I thought was actually quite a nice touch. Although it really gives a lot of question to this planet.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of age evolution. I mean, he could just be 20. Like we don't know, but that hair implies not maybe just 20.
Vincent Visions puts in $2. This scene had a nice shuttle bay establishing shot. Yes, it did. And even them leaving the shuttle bay was nice with the little force field and the door, of course, up.
It's that nice thing that if you don't realize it's all visual effects, you wouldn't think it is, but it is.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely.
And Roberto Suarez puts in $2. So the time crystals age the baby. Yes, he actually explains that. He says for the timekeepers, time flows differently for those who protect the crystals. So. Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Next scene.
Although I think he also someone said, "Are these monks from different points in time, and the monastery is in some form of temporal nexus?" I mean,
possibly.
You're creating a really interesting thing with this planet. So, did Worf become 10 years older from his time there?
No, obviously not.
No. Then you get a scene with everyone, with all the main characters in the mess hall. Not sure why Stamets is there.
But not all the main characters.
Well,
there's no main character except for Stamets.
Well, sorry, I meant all the... Okay, great point there. Sorry, great point. I meant all the people at Bridge that are meant to be main characters in a... Well, I guess all the secondaries with the weird primary. But it felt disjointed. Like, he's not part of this group.
Well, he's not, but look how busy the mess hall is. There was nowhere else to sit. That's what I chalk it up to, because every other table is taken in one of these when he leaves the mess hall. Like, literally, it's crowded. I thought that was a nice touch, actually, instead of just 5 people in there, to have it crowded, because it's obviously the lunch break. Because, I mean, you look at almost the last shot here, where right before Hugh comes in, there's nowhere to sit. There's nowhere to sit.
Yeah, I see 2 chairs, but that's it. Yeah, or maybe 3. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, that's probably why he's sitting there.
But it just contextually felt a bit weird, and then you cut to the side characters doing this game I didn't even understand. It went over my head, for better or for worse. Like,
well, it's words that cancel each other out, like giant shrimp. You know.
But it doesn't get a giant shrimp, though. I've eaten giant shrimp.
But shrimp, if you look up the definition of shrimp, you look at the definition of a giant, they cancel each other out. So a giant shrimp is there's so many other words that do the same thing.
I've eaten a giant shrimp.
I think you're missing the point.
I am. I don't get
military intelligence is an oxymoron because the two just don't go together.
Anyway. It doesn't work for me as a game. Sorry, that scene completely fell flat to me, and definitely that's definitely like a reshoot. We'll chuck something in, because if you think about the dangerousness of where they are, I guess they're used to that at this point in the season. Everything's dangerous, but it felt too lighthearted for what was happening, I guess. Although nice, Hugh found some friends with the other secondaries. Like, they had to pick, who do we give him that are friends, and who do we not give him that are friends? And I guess he made friends with the security officer from Enterprise, because they're friends.
Yes.
He's got his own life post-Hugh. Nice.
Crassus puts in £5. So Kenneth Mitchell, who played Call, and Call Shah, plays Tenevik. Does this throw into question who the father really was? Probably not. Maybe. Good.
Nice. That's hilarious. And it's funny, I met the actor in person in Destination. He said, I've got multiple parts in the season. Maybe not the original character, but I'm in it. And it's like, oh. So yeah, he got to play every other Klingon. Cool. He did them differently. I'll give him that. And then we get, Tig walks in, says hi, and reveals, hey, ignore all the stuff like the Spore drive and all that crap. Time crystal! And Stamets like, oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. Although, beyond his ability to sort of see time in a non-linear way, he's not particularly used. Like, he wouldn't be my first choice for time crystal duty, given he's a biologist. So it's not really his field of expertise. Yeah. Like, he's not he's going to be behind the curve of the class. I mean, no one in there is a temporal expert, I can assume. But like, he's not exactly the first choice.
Yeah.
And then we get some trees growing, because time. And that's the reveal that he's future boy. Gentle scene. Again, very easy. Giving you a time crystal doesn't feel like a challenge at all. But whatever.
Yes. And here's where we hear that Klingon crystals are basically a myth to other Klingons, which I like. Yeah, great scene, actually. Then we get Burnham and Spock on the shuttle. And here's where we find out that she's not angry. She's enraged. And Spock's like, that's the enemy of logic. And I love how Spock points out, too, that Burnham is the only common denominator in regards to the signals. So
she is the most important person in this universe, Stuart.
She's the bestest of everything, yes.
If season 3 doesn't revolve around her too, I think we'll all have a riot. But yeah, there's a scene, whatever.
Yeah. Tanushi puts in €2. Time manipulation, growing trees, Orville?
Yeah. It was more Orwellian, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, and then they hit a deer. Oh, no, they hit a dead body. The people that were ejected from the Section 31 ship. But, my God, there's a life form. There's somebody still alive in that. I was like, how is that fucking possible? Oh, because he's in a spacesuit. All right, fine. Maybe I'll buy that.
I find it funny. So when they hit the body, they made a point of an earlier episode. It shattered into glass, but no, this frozen to frozen boy just hits it and goes bump, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
just you hear a bump.
It's like, no,
wow.
you did it already 2 episodes ago. How it shattered would have been cool. So I was kind of disappointed by the whatever. But the thing is, this was given up and this was revealed in the last episode, so I had no impact. It's like, yeah, and it makes sense. You know, you'd kill a crew that you couldn't turn, sure. You know, but at this point, I mean, I already knew this was the trap. It was so improbable
I didn't.
So that's
I didn't
good,
call
though.
this.
That's good though.
I know. Until like right before the reveal, I'm like, once you started talking to her when they were doing the thing on the floor, then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, shit. But yeah, I didn't see it this early, unfortunately.
Shannon says, let's be real, everything rolled around Jonathan Archer at Enterprise, and people didn't complain.
That's because he's the captain.
Also, what revolved around him?
The crew. That's what's important.
Yeah, because he's the captain of the ship. But I mean, like, the Xindi War wasn't about him. I mean, he was also the one that signed the Federation Charter, so he was important in history.
Yeah.
But, you know, he wasn't...
But see, that's the point. The most Star Trek shows revolve around the captain, essentially, is the main character. And then the crew is... Because Kirk had Spock and McCoy, and then, to a lesser extent, the other crew. Picard had his whole crew. I mean, if you focus on the captain, everybody's important because everybody has to deal with the captain.
Yeah.
When you focus on a side character, it's like the captain gets talked down to all the time, apparently, and it throws off the focus of the show. I think to focus on one of the side characters as opposed to the main person in charge of the ship.
And we certainly assumed when they announced a side character, it actually wouldn't be as big, you know. She wouldn't be on the bridge the whole time. It'd be interesting to have her be a side character in the context of the missions they're in, not be the focus of the universe. It's weird to make her be a secondary, but have her be beyond primary. It's a very... They didn't...
Yeah.
Yeah, very strange, very strange. But yeah, so I call this straight away because it just seems so... Like, this control entity is so smart, so intelligent, so whatever, that if the ship is late by 20 minutes, it's on purpose. Like, it didn't get me for 1 second, and you know, using, I guess, calculating what she would do, because again, how dumb is it for her? Because what if the ship had been waiting for them with guns blazing, or just shot them and killed them? You know,
yeah, they're in a shuttle. Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that it can do. And also, why on earth did the Section 31 ship take? They were in Federation space. Why did they warp into Klingon space and then eject and kill everyone? Which implies that the crew took it into Klingon space because...
we're not sure they're in Klingon space, to be fair. They never once say that.
And
they could have easily took the shuttle into Federation space. That's really stretching to say it's Klingon space, but I see what you mean.
But it's really stretching to say they went out of Klingon space. I mean, are you saying
it is,
they went?
They don't care about distance or travel. We know this in Discovery, so why do we focus on it?
Because it's a plot hole.
It is.
They can't travel a week and then find this.
But they do in the episode, and that's the problem. We just have to accept it at this point. Sad but true. But
if you give them a pass for bad storytelling, they can keep doing it and do worse. The thing is, if you expect bad things and say that it's fine, then they'll say, okay, great, they accept that, we'll do whatever we want. It's like, yeah, but then the stories get worse and worse. If you teach them to do better, then we get better stories. And if you get better stories, they have to then improve.
But they're not listening to us, so we're not teaching them anything by complaining about it. We got
the TOS uniforms, the D7, Pike, Spock. They're learning. They're listening to fan feedback and fixing some mistakes. You know, better stories, better characters. Not making Michael the center of every story. You know, they are listening. So it's...
Yeah. I just think it's pointless to harp on it. Caleb Horn puts in $5.
No, before you read that, that's why we stop harping on about the visual differences. It's like, of course, there's a visual universe. We can't complain about the tech every episode. It's always wrong, but we can't complain about it. You know, this shuttle transporters, it really shouldn't. And you can't say Section 31 shuttle that she stole from.
We should harp on it if we wanted to fix it, I guess, by that logic. I don't know.
That's the fundamental of the show, though, is that it breaks the visual continuity. I
personally don't care where the Section 31 ship is. It was just I didn't. So I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, Caleb Horn puts at $5. I think the crew vaped themselves while fighting Control. Couldn't win, so they took Control down with them, or tried to. No, I don't think so. I think Control took out the crew.
Yeah.
Troy Macy puts in $1.99. Admiral Akbar, it's a trap. I wish I would have called it earlier, but I thought it was odd that it was a Shinzo tactical officer, but whatever. First I thought it was Connor, who had died twice. Like, how is that possible?
And 90 Lancaster says, Archer found Surak's Katra, had a key role in Temporal Cold War, and cured the augment virus. Well, Phlox cured the augment virus. Archer just happened to be there. He was the test subject, so that was just happened to be there. Temporal Cold War, lots of people had key roles. It's a Temporal Cold War throughout all the space. So did Daniels. Cheryl doesn't revolve around Daniels, even though it sort of does. You know, Silic, he had an important role. Didn't revolve around him, except the episodes that revolved around him. And Katra, I mean, sure, but he had T'Pol with him, so does the show revolve around T'Pol? Like, he went with T'Pol, and you know what I mean? It's not the same things. It's not you know, Archer walked into a desert, found it, and said, "Hey guys, I found it." No.
Yeah. Eugene puts in 300 rubles. My thoughts. It's obviously a trap. It is obvious to writers, though.
Oh yeah, I guess. Well,
is it obvious to writers?
The thing is, I don't like predicting these things. I like being
I'm
surprised.
a writer.
It's like the yeah, you are. It's like the cage, the seat reveal. I didn't think that was gonna come, so I really enjoyed that as a reveal. So we kind of swapped what we thought was gonna happen. So I appreciate that. But I assume this guy was an agent, and it does make sense to bring back someone that you're meant to know who it is, because it instantly creates a sense of you know, trust. It's unearned trust, which is the clever conceit of using the X character. Although there's a really massive hint that it's all nonsense, because he specifically says, and I did write this down. He says there was no time to react. Suddenly the whole ship was open to space, and yet he had time to climb inside a spacesuit, one that we know has to be put together. So his statement.
And he was the one that he was the one that activated the computer to do this by doing his thing, and then he had time. That was where it was like kind of like what. So
the story itself. I mean, he died, and then you know. It doesn't make sense because it's not meant to make sense. I'm just surprised no one caught that, because it doesn't, like, you can't do that. Especially if Control wants to kill you, it's going to kill you. Like, there's better ways that don't give you, 6 minutes to walk to a locker, put on the boots, put on the boots, put on the chassis, put it all together. It's like, you haven't got time to do that if you're all dying. Yeah. So a bit of an obvious giveaway, but that's okay. And then Stuart, back to L'Rell and Tyler.
Oh yes, oh god, yay!
Back to them, Stuart.
I loved Vok. But you will always be in love with Michael Burnham. I've accepted that. All right, thanks. Let's move on. Don't give a shit.
Next scene. Back to... Seriously, I'm fine with that. Back to the next scene, and we get... I mean...
Pillar of the past.
Not sure I understand what's going on here. I don't think you're meant to.
The quote is good for the future one. It's like, when the future becomes the past, the present will become uncloaked. Unlocked. Sorry, not uncloaked. Unlocked.
No, Stuart. No, uninvisibility screened. Come on, cloaks don't exist yet, remember?
Well, it was locked, not cloaked, to be fair. I just misread my notes.
I know, I'm just doubling down the fun.
I know.
And so
when the future becomes the past,
the
present will become unlocked. I think that's important to see what happens at the end of this season, because he said that Alex Kurtzman has said they're going to turn things on its head kind of thing at the end. Something about that quote I think is going to be relevant. I just can't imagine what it is. So
yeah, well, I mean, you said this in our small review, but honestly, if they do pull a dum 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 at the end of the season, I mean, it could be really interesting, because there's all this build up. But how interesting would it be if literally at the end they destroy the Federation, they get Time Crystal to the future Discovery, it gets jumped back and they undo what happened in the last 8 episodes, and that's next season. Like, the entire season's build up to epic loss, and then we have to do season 3 knowing what happened in season 2. Like, it'd be interesting, for better or for worse, because I mean, they've only got 2 episodes. That's it, Stuart. To neatly tie up in a bow the epic time war, massive battle, Section 31, all this stuff in 2 hours.
2 episodes. At least they have 2 episodes instead of like season 1 where they had 1 episode to end the war, and it wasn't done well.
It was done ferociously. What's the word?
Yeah, ferociously, I guess.
No, what's the real word?
Horrendously.
Thank you.
Horribly.
Yep. I'm smart. I make things go. So yeah, he puts a glowing crystal key. I guess it must be a time crystal, given the fact that it's the same looking thing. I guess. I didn't realize that until right now, but you put a time crystal into a time crystal lock makes sense because then no one else can get into it.
We have 343 people watching, man. We should have 300
Hey.
likes. Come on, guys. That's awesome. Good to see all you guys here. Thank you very much. Jeff Jacobs puts in $3. Okay, 340 watching. I will pay at 200. Make me pay. So there you go. We got 200 likes, and Jeff will pay again. So thank you guys for watching.
Oh, and Dan23 says, accept what is wrong with the show, lol. Yeah, it sounds a bit of an oxymoron, doesn't it? Just accept what's crap. It's like... But yeah, so we should have 200 likes like instantly, guys. 340 of you. Click the like button right now. Now. Click that like button. Click that.
And Fleetpot Swiftback puts in another $1.99. Essentially a giant reset button, Samuel. Yes. Reset.
But that's what the mum's been doing. I mean, the plot of this season wouldn't happen without time travel. They've given themselves an out. You know. Oh, read Forrest.
No Tilly in this episode. Is the captain okay? Yeah, I didn't realize there was no Tilly till the last scene where they're all on the bridge, and I'm like, where the hell's Tilly been? But yeah, I'm fine. She's back in the next episode. It's fine. And Troy Macy, $1.99, make Jeff pay. Sorry, go ahead.
If you could read Forrest Penrod's comment, I thought it was quite interesting, especially to more aimed at you.
Find it. Hold on.
Well, it's right there. It's not far up. Forrest Klingons have ancient cloak. That one. Forrest Penrod.
Okay. I found one of his. That's not the right one though.
It's not very far up. It's like right there, right under Fleet Pass Swiftback. I could just read it. To be fair, this would save time.
There it is. Klingons have ancient cloaks. Starfleet learned how to detect them. Klingons didn't develop another generation of cloak until TOS movies. Romulan deals with was never canonical, just supposition by Okuda. It wasn't by Okuda. It was actually mentioned in season 3, the Enterprise incident, where Spock says that they've exchanged technology with the Klingons. That's why they are using D7s now. So it's actually established in canon in season 3 of TOS. And it's expanded on in FASA and a bunch of other things. Plus, we've done an episode on it talking about the whole technology thing. So it's not Okuda that came up with it. They might have expanded on it, but it's stated by Spock. So,
but the disclaimer there is they don't say we gave them cloaks.
No, but that's just the assumption when we see them cloak in Star Trek 3 that, oh, there was a technology exchange. Obviously, the Klingons have cloaks now.
It's like, well, what do the Klingons get out of it? Is the assumption.
Actually, the Klingons have cloaking devices in the animated series. So season 4 of TOS. So, yeah, the supposition is there for that.
Well,
so.
Yeah, all the evidence is there. And besides, in TOS, they specifically say, it's an invisibility cloak. Oh my god, it's so amazing. If they saw cloaks 6 years ago and, the war was fought with cloaks, it doesn't matter if it's a less good cloak. It's still a cloaking device. It's still the same surprise of tech. So it's irrelevant if it's a better or worse cloak. It shouldn't have a cloak at all.
And Chai Bacon, yeah, it's kind of funny. He says, yeah, but Cap, no one here remembers TOS. They're all too young. LOL. Caleb Horn puts in two $1 donations.
Thank you.
And Eugene puts in 500 rubles. And that's the Bridge of Moria. Didn't you guys read or watch Lord of the Rings? If not, then I guess I have an idea for an episode. I never read Lord of the Rings, and I can't stand the movies. They're too boring. I can't get past the first one. I fall asleep like halfway through. So
that is alive on its own. But yes, I agree. It does definitely look like that. But no one said they will not pass. They just passed. It wasn't that difficult. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I'll say it again. Greatly realized Klingon world. Not much to say that they knew what they're doing there. And then you get to the inside of this monastery, which is just a room they put green. I love it's just like a room that I guess like it's such a we had a room in a building. And then we put crystals inside of it rather than a cave. I was meant to be a cave where crystals grew. They grew inside of a room.
It looks like it looks like they grew here. It looks like those are stalactites and stalagmites with the crystals embedded in them, and they carved the arches maybe around them out of the cave structure. That's kind of the vibe that I got from it, especially considering the pathway leading into them. It's very much like cave-like. So I just assume they carved the arches around them because it's like they're embedded in the pillars. If you look up, you can see them glowing in the top parts where it's.
But really, they just put VFX crystals on existing architecture.
Don't ruin it. I thought it was real. Now you just. Fine.
Da 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 da. Time crystals. Da 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 da.
Man, now I'm just
Why didn't they use time
disappointed.
crystals in the Dominion War to stop the Dominion?
Because they've forgotten about them by then.
Oh, okay.
Or they all get, or like we said, something could happen in this monastery where everything gets destroyed at some
And
point.
then it gets rebuilt for TNG. And is just there.
Well, no, just this part of the monastery, the mine part with the crystals. The main surface area is still the same.
But this shot made me laugh a little bit. It feels really silly. Does that make sense? It's not a bad shot. It just feels silly.
I thought it felt a little silly too, but I really liked it. It still looks like the University of Toronto or the Royal Ontario Museum by the architecture, but that's okay.
I think it's just the premise of them having unlimited crystals is laughably absurd.
There should have been like a dozen at most. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Discovery dropping the ball again, and I made a very distinct link with season 1 where we ran out of spores. We can't make new ones. And that was great. It was like, okay, the spore technology will be redundant, whatever. And then suddenly they work out a way of seeding spores on a planet, and now they have infinite spores. And it's like, oh, yeah. You created a brilliant plot
never mention it again.
And then lost it. And so, same thing. The rarity of the time crystal is what makes it interesting, because then it explains only 3 exist created by these temporal beings. Great, we'll find the last one, and in ancient lore it's said to be on this planet. Okay, great, we'll spore there, and okay, great. No, there's a cave, there's a world full of them. Oh, you know what I mean? It creates a cool premise and ruins it completely. The scene is great though, but again, the setup is not good, and it's just really easy again. It's just easy.
The first thing that popped into my mind when I saw this was the Jedi Archive. Just has that Jedi Archive feel to it. Like,
I love that comparison.
Yeah.
Love it.
But anyway, great scene.
Well,
Pike
hold
gets
on.
warned.
Do you know the name of the Jedi crystals that are in the lightsabers?
Oh, the Kyber crystals, yeah.
Okay, you did.
That's not what I was talking about, though. I was talking about like the archive where the information missing from.
I know, but you do the crystals. Damn it, what did you?
I'm a Star Wars fan too, man.
I know.
Anyway. So, this is where we see he gets warned about the crystals, whatever. Touches one, sees the old Class J ship that he was serving on, helping the ensigns, and gets Kelvinized. He's wearing a Kelvin suit, very, very much like the Kelvin uniforms.
You know what's funny? You mentioned this before in terms of like even Orville, is you look past the visuals and see the truth. This is a beautiful scene in idea and execution in terms of what it means, but the visuals are god awful because it shouldn't be any of this. You know, it's an old ship. Why has it got only a 7-year-old, 10-year-old engineering from a specially designed Spore ship?
But that's going to require some explanation for some people out there. Discovery in episode 3 of Discovery was brand new off the production line. The floor of the shuttle bay wasn't even scuffed.
Yes.
That's one of the comments. It was a brand new ship. So this was obviously the engineering or the Spore room from Discovery, just redressed and not even hidden to look like any different. So what we're saying is the old Class J ship that was mentioned in TOS, which you assume is like 30, 40, 50-year-old ship. That's why the baffle plating went or whatever the excuse was. That this is not that. And they really doubled down on their aesthetic by they had the ensign badges that Tilly was wearing, and they're not wearing. They should be wearing TOS colors because this is in the future. Lots of opportunity here to fix things, and they just dropped the ball.
Because this is TOS.
Yes.
There is no other. This is 100% TOS, and so I mean I didn't mind the uniforms. They don't look like anything in particular. They kind of like jumpers. I mean they don't look like anything.
They're ensign or cadet uniforms, so they don't necessarily Starfleet. So you can say that, but
I think there are better ensign uniforms you could invent for TOS than that.
Yes.
And his uniform is just a variation of the one from JJ, even so much as having the epaulets, which I thought was really like, ooh, that's a bad choice. Why the hell have you done that? That stood out. But yeah, great scene. But if you ignore the Discovery, if you take the Discovery out of it, it's excellent. If you put the Discovery in, it's like, ooh, this isn't. Which is a weird thing. Yeah. But that happens with a lot of stuff.
We got 3 super chats I want to get to real quick.
Oh, excellent.
Richard Kennedy puts in £4.99.
Hi, Richard.
First time in Discovery that I genuinely felt actual sadness for a character was when Pike saw his future and his reaction. Yeah, we'll get to that in just 1 second. So thank you very much, Richard.
But yeah, Ansem
Thomas
Mount.
Ruffley.
Oof.
Yeah. Thomas Ruffley puts in $10 with no comment, but thank you very much.
Thomas,
greatly
kind.
appreciated. And Eugene puts in another 500 rubles. Again, you're an amazing man.
Eugene.
And that's Force Crystal Cave from Ilum.
Yeah, Ilum.
Or some JJ Wars Kyber thing. Can we build a time saver? Yes. Every time you would cut somebody in half, both halves of their body end up in a different time. They're still dead, but they time travel.
Sounds awesome.
Or every time you block another lightsaber, you move through time in the exact same spot you're in. So you can see things aging, and then when you attack, then it goes the opposite direction, so you go back to your time.
Now, there's a wonderful... Yes, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Someone mentioned this in a comment for... And again, 335 viewers. Brilliant. Big click the like button. Captain Spire says something that refers to a theory I'm hearing more after this episode. So the crystals are orbs of the prophets. That maybe that's the basis of the crystals made by prophets. Thoughts?
Well, I disagree. They look totally different, and there was only one time orb. Orbit, like they all have different properties. So there's only one orb of time, and that was the one from Trials and Tribulations.
And it looks the same as every other orb because it's the same prop.
So I'm gonna rule that out. Yes.
Yeah, and it'd be really sad to link every single time travel tech to the same thing.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? It'd be sad.
Yeah.
KG
puts in $2 Canadian. Staying true to canon, we've got a rock explosion. Yes. And canon only has one. Canon only has one end. And
that's a nice
use, just so you know.
That's
but
a nice
yeah,
reference.
Yeah, they packed their consoles full of rocks.
Well, hey, look, even the brand newest of Galaxy classes and the oldest of J class have rocks. You know, yeah.
And yeah, Forrest Penrod. Technically, the silver cadet uniform is from Kirk's time as a cadet. The silver would have worked, like we saw Finnegan wearing in Shore Leave. That's the cadet uniform, the Starfleet Academy uniform, essentially for that time period. Something more closer to that would have worked here as well.
Yeah, that would have been good. I mean, it's such a quick thing. I mean, they could even be store bought. Because don't you have a jacket like his cadet uniform with those like red shoulders?
Well, I've got my Trekyards uniforms have the maroon one and the gold one. Yeah.
Maybe they as reference to you, Stuart. The Asian guy is like or Indian guy, whatever it is. Like it's a reference to you, Stuart.
Yeah, Trekyards uniform. Sweet.
Although to be fair though, he could be looking at his future through a lens of the present. To be fair.
And if they do change the timeline, which Kurtzman has kind of suggested they might.
Yeah.
Whatever. It would change obviously. So.
Because he, I mean, I think it's weird that this crystal can just let you travel in time. Like it. I mean, because what is it doing? Is how is a crystal showing you the future? It's not living. So is it just? You know what I mean? It's weird what it could and couldn't do, but if it's just a possible future, so I kind of like to do it. Might just be how your brain can cope with it. So obviously you're seeing the engineering-ish room of your own ship. You're seeing uniforms that exist in your time, badges. It's not showing you much. Until you see the chair.
I gotta say, his face damage there is exactly like the 1960s version, and then later when we see him in the chair, it's got more of a melted look. So that's actually really good. I made a note that his makeup was really spot on.
Well, and
Clivoid puts in $10.
Wow.
They can't do what feels right. They are hipsters.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. Yeah. So this is where we see the chair in the distance, and I was like, oh good God, they're gonna screw this up. I just know it. But then when we get the reveal of the chair, it is a fantastic representation and visual update of the original chair. It looks so good. And I love how he tries to speak, but he can't. And his face starts to like melt.
It's haunting.
Which obviously it wasn't really melting. It was just it was fantastic.
And it makes me uncomfortable to put this screenshot on the page on because it is genuinely not good.
Yeah, and then Pike's reaction to it, that terrified, like, Anson Mount, damn, man. He's broken as a character. I mean, that would break you, you'd think.
Well, it's that classic question of, if you could know the day of your death, would you? Because then you know, oh great, I have 50 more years. But then as the days start coming up, like, well, now only every year, only 6 months, only a day. Like, would you want to know? What if it's suddenly next week? Now you're living in fear, and so now he knows. At least in our review, it's going to be soon. Although with the age and technology of Trek, it could be 10, 15 years. It is closer to that.
Well, it's obviously not like 40 years, is what I meant.
Sure.
It's like,
that's unless he deliberately, had dermal regeneration to keep himself looking young. I'm sure you could do that actively to try and keep yourself, like, I mean, dyeing your hair is easy, keeping your hair is easy. You know what I mean? I'm sure you could keep yourself looking younger if you chose to try and fight aging longer. But yeah, it's only sooner than later. But yeah, it shows that Anson Mount is the best thing about this show.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the best actor, the best performance, the best character arc. Well, I'm really surprised that they did this. They didn't need to. They did it. It's just enough. It's haunting. It's updated, but not too much. But to give this character a sense of the future is really intriguing. Because then now it completely informs afterward stuff. Although you can imagine now... Yeah. Now his sadness in Menagerie is even more clear because he saw this coming. He was waiting for the day, and now he's locked in this. I'm sure he had nightmares about this for years until it happened, and then he's just living this horrible living nightmare.
Yeah. Bill Barkley says that Pike's not going to be in season 3. Yeah, we've known that since the beginning of season 2. That he was just here for one season. He's got to go back and command the Enterprise for another 5-year mission. Then he gets his promotion. Then this happens to him, and then you see the events of Menagerie. So yes, we know this.
Although I'm pretty sure they said he's not a series regular. I don't think they said he will not appear at all.
Yes.
I think that's important.
All in how you interpret it, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be in it because come on, they'll rewrite what they were going to do this season to bring him back. He's the most popular character they've ever made, which is not saying much, but I'm sure he'll be in it. Because, one easy way to get views, have the Enterprise come in and do something cool with the 3 characters. It's an easy win for a thing. It's my vote.
And Russ Knuckle Iron Gut puts in...
It's cool.
I forget what that is, but thank you. So now Pike is immortal until he is in the place where he knows he will be injured. He's 100% knows he won't die before that. That's an interesting take on it. Because he says, if you saw your fate, if you take this crystal, you seal that fate, that's what you're going to have. If you don't take the crystal, things can change. Don't really buy that personally, but he takes the crystal, fine. But yeah, you're right. He could literally stand in front of a phaser tomorrow. I'm not in the engineering room. I'm not promoted. Come at me, bro.
Well,
it's not going to die.
Which also means if he's on the Enterprise, which he is, he's in the Enterprise this battle, he knows the Enterprise isn't going to blow up. Whatever happens, the ship won't blow up. Whatever ship he's on is safe.
Well, the ship might blow up, but he'll survive somehow.
Yes, but it doesn't necessarily... You know what I mean? I think that... Yeah. When they said that, first of all, the fact that this guy could pull out time crystal and not see the... I was expecting a little teeny flash forward or something. Or, because it's temporal, whatever. I'm surprised he could just hold it and whatever. And oh, yeah.
Rane Faye puts in €2. Long-time lurker can't see a like button on mobile. It's there. It depends on which orientation you are and whether it's... You should be able to see the chat. If you can close the chat, you can hit the like button and reopen the chat. And Roberto Suarez, this is the thing that caught my attention. He puts in $2 and says, would a different crystal have shown Pike a different fate? That's interesting. Not 100% sure about that, but interesting nonetheless.
Yeah. Huh.
I would have been like, well, I'm not going to take that one. I'm going to touch this one. Okay, shit, I saw the same thing. All right, I'm taking that one then.
This is what it looks like on mobile.
Yep.
And there's a like button there.
Yeah, but where's the live chat? Hit the live chat button.
Yes. So the live chat.
Right there.
But then you
so with the live chat there, you can't see the like button. You got to close the live chat.
And there you go.
Yeah. And then you can hit like.
Thanks, mate. Everyone's click live now. 203. So please do add some more. So I thought it was very bizarre that Tuvok's son said, if you pick this crystal, your future's set. I mean, that seems the most antithetical. I would rather him have said, and it would make a lot more sense, if you pick this crystal, your future is now in motion. The future you're meant to have will not happen, and it could be worse, could be better. You take fate into your hands, because then it's saying, oh, well, now I've seen it, I can avoid it, or at least try to avoid it, rather than, because you're implying that touching this crystal cements reality. But what if Michael Burnham's mum in the future goes back and changes events, undoes his death, time crystal's lying? So it doesn't make... I mean, what does this guy know? Like, really, he's a monk, it's a spiritual thing. He doesn't... I'm sure it's just a thing he's saying. But it made no sense to me. I don't think they're going to... it doesn't mean anything. Except showing the character of the man to accept this fate worse than death, even though we know that he does get retirement after it with Vina, which sort of undermines it a little bit. But I mean, still doing 10 years of pain is still, or however many years, is still pretty bad.
That's why I like my original idea. That would have been cool if he touched the crystal, saw himself with Vina, maybe having another picnic with a horse or something, or a few flashes of Vina and the kids or something, and then he lets go of it and he's like, that can't possibly be my future. And the guy's like, well, if you take the crystal, you're going to seal your fate. It's like, okay. Grabs the crystal, breaks it off, or the Klingon hands it to him, and it does the sparky thing like it does, and then he gets a flash of his face like disfigured, because he did see his future. He just saw the Telosian future. It would be interesting, but I do like the way they went with, because he's like, I won't abandon my ideals just because I see that future. We need this time crystal. I'm going to do it as right, even though the future contains an ending that I hadn't seen for myself. So it makes the character a lot stronger, but it just would have been cool to have seen like maybe a flash or two of Vina even quickly.
Yes. But for what it was well played, and as again, it's nice to have an actor play it so well you don't question it. He was not acting; he was living that choice, and so all well done to him. Then you get a great space shot of the one ship, which is for all three modelers out there, you can see it.
But super chats.
Super chats.
Tim Theo $1. Jeff Jacobs $3. Oof. Yay, 200 likes. I will go again at 250. Make me pay. Jeff Warrender puts in £2 and says 200 deserves a super chat. Well, thank you, Jeff.
So kind.
And Jarcia puts in $10 Canadian. Thank you. Could the time crystals letting people see the future past have something to do with Klingons who visited Borath having visions of Kailash? Even though they put Kailas.
I doubt it, because they would have to... I feel like that's too much connective tissue, because then you say, well, what is this crystal? And then... no, I think that's too far. I like it though, but it's too far. Maybe like ground up crystal dust, and if they snort it, it helps.
Pixie dust.
Oh, and Trent Collicutt sent you $3.69.63 by PayPal. He says the captain may not like the Lord of the Rings, but the set designers obviously do. Yes.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just can't watch it. It's just boring. I'm going to watch it, don't worry. Sylvia wants me to watch it with her. I've watched The Hobbit, and that's probably more boring. So, but anyway, next scene. Section 31 ship jumps to warp. That's what I wrote.
And did you note, no warp star? So they were good about doing warp stars, when it jumps out with Discovery, but they didn't do it with this ship, which I was like, oh. Boo.
Yeah.
Although, how much were you thinking... oh, they're not going to bring the spacesuits, are they? They're going to ignore the obvious. I was convinced that it would be so stupid to just not bring spacesuits, but I was like, they weren't dumb riders. They actually wore spacesuits.
With the way they were talking before they beamed over, I thought, they'd better wear a goddamn spacesuit, considering that control can just suck them or blow them out into space, as the case may be. And so when they beamed over with the spacesuits, I'm like, thank God. How long does it take to get the helmet up? Because even when Spock entered the room, I'm like, if that room depressurizes instantly, does he have time to, I don't know.
And if there's a time suit, if there's a time crystal in his suit, does he have infinite time to put it up?
Yes. Check PayPal. Did you check PayPal?
I did a second ago.
Oh, here's another one.
Ooh.
Yep. All right. So, yes, we got money, but no message.
Who's it from?
Where is it here? It's from Zam.
Loomstein.
Yes.
From Santa Monica Boulevard. Cool. From Hollywood.
Santa Monica Boulevard.
Thank you. Appreciated.
All right. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, so jumps to warp, and then I've got the notes here about the hangnail. That's the next scene.
Yes.
But is it in the pictures, or did you just not get pictures of it? It's way there. Holy shit. That's the only note I got. That the ship jumped to warp. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
they
I'm
talk
an
about
idiot.
the other plan in a minute. That's the next scene, I think. Because the ship, becomes awake and warps out, and instantly you're thinking, oh, so it's chosen not to kill them, so it's obviously a trap. Although, do you remember in TOS and TNG it took hours and days to reactivate the warp core when it's off? Seconds. In this show, you just turn it on and off again and just warp.
Days.
Well, it was days.
I have to have half an hour.
Was
I cannot change the laws of physics. I can't do a cold start. I need half an hour. We've only got 7 minutes.
Well, okay then.
Can't do it.
The Tig and Stamets. Well, Stamets Part 2 scene. Hugh. The only real Hugh scene. As the main plot gets thicker, the side characters get less. Although Tig gets more stuff. What do you think about this scene? Because I know you.
Good scene.
Like this scene.
I really liked it. I like seeing her back. First of all, I love her brashness. I love her character. I love the way she talks to Hugh because he rhymes with poo. I have a hangnail, and they kind of go back and forth for a second, and then they find out they have something in common. She was married, and her wife died during the war, and they were both Stamets or Hugh. I don't know who, and her wife were very micromanaging. They were talking about wedding planning and all those little things.
Yeah.
I just love the advice. You have a second chance to be with the person you love. I obviously don't have that because she's dead, so don't screw it up. And plus, get his mind back on the shit he's supposed to have his mind on. It's kind of a selfish reason for her going, I think, because I work with him. I need his mind on his thing. Well, that sounds dirty, but I need his mind on his work. So I need his mind on your thing. I like this scene personally. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, Although it's weird that the last time we saw Hugh, he was specifically trying to talk to Stamets out of the blue, and then
Stamets is like, not now.
So I guess that was enough to piss him off and not try again. That's what I said to you at the time. Really, Stamets, if you put him off, he's gonna be, you'll put off vibes. I don't care, so you have no right to care now. So it's weird. They're obviously stretching this very thin storyline as much as they can. There's no real meat here because either they solve.
That's why it feels like. That's why it feels like it could have been in another episode, and we're running out of episodes, guys. We got 3 left. We need to put these scenes in. Yep. Let's interject them here because a lot of serious thick stuff is going on. Quick, put this scene in.
I can see it. But it's a good scene in theory, but I don't like how she is juxtaposing herself in this relationship, because while her wife did die, very different situation. This person died, rose from the dead, is a different biological person than he was, is acting different, feeling different, and so just to tell him, get over it, get back with him because you loved him once, you love him again. For me, rings as you don't know what you're talking about, engineer lady. You're being very insensitive. Let him deal with it in his own time. If he even wants to get back with him, like, you have no right to. I understand she doesn't know she doesn't know what to say and not say, but like, this is not something that would endear you to somebody. You know, if you're in a car wreck, well, I can't even make an analogy. There's no analogy you could make.
You know,
it just feels.
some people need a good slap in the face. Some people need a good slap in the face to get their attention. That's what she did to him. Essentially, like, you have a second chance to be with the person that loves you and that you loved. Why not?
But he
not
doesn't
fuck it up.
But he doesn't love him anymore. He knows he did, but he hasn't got.
But I think he does again because of the events of what happened with the time travel suit. We wanted to talk to him again, and then he's like, "Not right now." That conversation should have happened literally like 4 hours later when they were back on the ship, but it obviously hasn't.
Well, then maybe,
I don't know. I see them getting back together.
Well, maybe
him starting to feel more like himself.
Maybe they deleted scenes to show more, because I mean,
Probably
it's very stop, start, jump, start. Like, it doesn't feel earned where they're going. It'd be nice if they did, but this scene feels out of place to me where they are in the relationship. They're both giving each other space with no sign of that changing. So it's a nice scene, but she's just not a good person here.
I disagree. I think she was very on point with what she was doing. Sometimes people just need to be rude to get people's attention, even though she wasn't rude. Tanushi puts in €2. Anyone else notice the mouth on the ship? Yes, people said that the Section 31 ship has a face, but I think that's just silly. And Caleb Horn puts in $2. What was that? Medical attention. Yeah, that's a good line.
Well, she's there for a non-reason that's medical, so he's treating her in a non-way that's medical. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, now this is where the plot takes another nosedive. Because the idea behind this scene, Stuart, and follow me if you will. This ship is controlled by Section 31's control AI, right?
Yes.
Cool. And it's been in control of these ships for a long time now. All of them, some of them, one of them, a long time now, weeks, months, whatever. It's also got a lot of the information from the sphere, so it's able to evolve slightly more. And it controls the ship, so it knows they're on board. It knows they beamed in. It's warping them away. It's tracking all the systems, and as you can see by the readout, all the systems except one, they implied more than one, are all under its control, including every system to monitor them. And so the plan, being overheard by the ship's security systems, is to create a fake little system to which the AI
startup program.
The AI will think is, fresh meat, and I'll go attack it, and then we'll trap it in that subroutine, as if the AI isn't data, isn't copying and pasting itself, is actually an entity inside of the computer, like a worm traveling through, as if it can't hear your plan through the ship's sensors currently listening to you, as if it will fall for that. And then once it's out of the rest of the ship, because one little system they're making has enough space to have the entire AI, whatever, then trap it in there in a system, and then you can save the ship. And it's like everything a part of that plan is broken. I mean, just the fact they think they can create a system and not be detected about doing that, or a sub little cage as they call it. Like, nothing about this plan works. I mean, the fact that he's control is great, but nothing about the plan makes sense. I think Spock is smart enough to say, "What are you on about?" I mean, am I off base here? That it's it's the first thing in Discovery that makes literally no sense. It's completely broken as a storyline. All of them have vague good and bad, but this bit is just completely broken. What do you think?
Yeah. I think it was just a quick way to say we're going to try to trap the computer. Let's move on with the storyline. Yeah, it didn't make any sense for an advanced computer system, but whatever. It soon shows that it didn't work anyway. So
but it's funny because this AI is meant to be a thing that destroys all the universe, and yet it can be trapped inside its own ship by a fake. Like, you know what I mean? It's weird. I mean, obviously it does work. I was about to say it didn't work, but it does work. It does get trapped in this thing. Spock does erase it from the rest of the ship, and then they only have it in the physical entity of the body. Like, it does work somehow. Like, what? I
didn't get the impression it worked at all.
Well,
I don't know why you say it worked.
Well, because the computer says all AI is out of the ship except in the physical body, and then after they get rid.
That's
after
because
the...
it's lying to him.
No, I understand. No, I understand that. I said that in our main review, but then the AI gets out of the dude's body, gets locked in by gravity, and then they get to go back to Discovery in their ship. So they then take the ship back to Discovery. So obviously the AI isn't in control, otherwise they couldn't have... if the ship had got back to Discovery, it would have done something with the data. Like they get home, it's fine, end of story. Like they win.
I assume they didn't take the Section 31 ship to get back to Discovery. I assume they took that to get their shuttle back and then took the shuttle to Discovery. But
why?
Anyway, yeah. Because why take the Section 31 ship that's looking for the information that Discovery has back to Discovery? And it's clearly not there when they are standing on the bridge later. It's not there, like the ship's just hanging out beside them.
So they left a combat vessel that they've theoretically cleared, but why would just want... You know what I mean? The whole narrative breaks. But that said, it's all there... It doesn't work at all, but it's all there just to give Control and Burnham a conversation. Now, I applaud them for that. But it was an absolutely absurdly lazy way of getting us there. But I love the conversation.
Anyway, it's a small thing to really...
The biggest thing in the story,
anyway.
apart from time crystals for me, but yeah.
Well, it's just... Anyway, dude survived the war, apparently joined Section 31 because they wanted to prevent the war from ever starting again, or our war from ever starting again. So Section 31 ramped up their stuff, which, as you said earlier, was interesting because if Michael had have died originally, then the Battle of the Binary Stars would have never happened. Section 31 wouldn't have stepped in to like make sure another war didn't happen. So Section 31 is so huge and so powerful right now because of Michael Burnham surviving and starting the Battle of the Binary Stars. Interesting. And I think that all of the Section 31 ships probably purged their crew, hence why Section 31 is no more after this, except for like Giorgio and a few others that survived.
Yeah, I would say purge in the caveat of purge plus transformed several into people that can, move and talk, because you need physical bodies to move tech and do stuff. So yeah, I'm sure each one has like one or two people that have been converted. But yes, beyond that, I mean, they're for all intents and purposes dead, but purged. Except, I mean, to be fair, you would just make them all AI people, wouldn't you? I mean, why wouldn't you make the entire crew, Terminators? Like, you can't make people, but you can turn the people you already have. And can I quote now what Control says?
Sure.
Because I just find it really, really interesting. In Starfleet, you're taught to adapt your reactions so you can act even when you're uncertain. Okay, cool. Section 31 accelerated their threat assessment program to prevent a war from ever starting. Sound like a good idea to me. A way to guarantee a safer future. It might seem impossible with Control. It's not an impossibility. So this is him saying, Burnham, I'm just doing what I'm programmed to do. Like, I'm not the baddie here. I see the threat of sentient people, and my only recourse is to kill you all. I'm not brainwashed. I'm not broken. I'm just the natural evolution of my plan, which is kind of, again, the lazy conceit of AI wants to take over everything. Like, it's a very classical, it thinks it's right. Like, there isn't much there to play with.
Yeah.
But I like that he's like, I mean, I'm just doing what I was programmed to do. But you guys made me more powerful. I evolved a bit. I had this plan, and me from the future came back to tell me I should kill all of you, help me to do it, and now I'm going to kill you all. But no hard feelings, right? I'm going to take you over, start the apocalypse, and everyone will live happily ever after in the dust. In peace.
Yes.
It's nice.
Caleb Horn puts in $5.
Thank you.
I think Section 31 has 31 ships in their fleet. Haha. They say
more,
that
no
almost the
less.
entire fleet was coming at them, and that was 30 ships. Yeah. That's interesting. But no, this is where it talks to Michael and says, I want your help, Michael, and points out that she was a true threat to Control's objectives and the only variable that couldn't control, which I found interesting. I think, again, ties in, it's foreshadowing of her maybe taking over the suit at some point and creating the red signals. But it wanted her help to get the information from Discovery because it considered that the only or the best option Which, no, it's kind of a stupid decision, but anyway.
And it's strange that he says, I need your help. It's like, no, you're going to take over my body and use me against my will and kill my brain. It's like, it's not really help. It's just, can I use your body, please? Like, it's a weird framing there. I mean, it kind of makes sense. She's the center of the universe, so if you take over the center of the universe person, you can do anything. Yes. It does make sense. Yeah. But then I said to you straight away, so why didn't he just infect her literally as soon as they met? I mean, nothing here, again, makes sense. Like, he has ample opportunity to either inject her with a syringe or just put nanites out of his own blood into her blood, a la it flies its own way. Like, it can move independently and it can take people over. I don't understand why it doesn't. It seems, again, dumb. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Eugene puts in 200 rubles, sorry. Damn Mass Effect flashbacks.
Yeah, and Babylon 5. It's that big classic thing. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, AI, absolutely. Yeah, it's even more literally that, isn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, Spock gets his arm broken. He tries to give him a Vulcan nerve pinch, which would have been effective if I had nerve endings.
Which is a great moment. I give him all credit for the fun of that.
And then the nanotech starts to like slither across towards, and you've got dual phaser. And somebody brought up an interesting question in the chat there. Do the Discovery phasers not have like disrupt or disintegrate? I guess not. I guess they only have stun and kill. They don't have like a disintegrate set option, which they should, because one hit from a disintegration should just get rid of the guy.
Look, it shows TOS phasers slightly more advanced, Stuart. We got something. We got that setting. Something's more advanced than TOS because they do it intermirror darkly with ease.
Yeah.
So we got something, Stuart. Yay!
But no, it was really interesting. Then the nanites get magnetized to the floor, which I thought was a bit of a cop out. I was wondering what Spock was going to do to stop them. Yeah. But interesting.
I thought it was going to beam them out, maybe. Like, which would be really, really difficult to do. But same thing. I wasn't sure. Did this fight strike you as a bit odd? That they're both firing kill blasts, even though his entire purpose of getting her here is to take her over. I get he can
just take over her body. Because the Gant who he's in now died, and he made a point that he can bring people back, and reanimate them. So even if she's dead, she's not disintegrated. So maybe they can still use her. So
it just seems weird not to put on stun setting. It's like you're trying to capture her, and you're trying to kill her. I know you can but it's just like it was a weird visual to have them both do kill setting, despite the entire point of her being there was not to kill her. Was to take her over. Yeah. It just felt like a weird visual, like, why?
Fleet Plus Swiftback puts in $1.99. Couldn't infect Burnham with Spock watching.
But then you infect Spock. I mean, he says, I can get over a room in 0.8 seconds, and he's stronger than both of them put together. It's not a problem. If he wanted to, he could have. He didn't. Plot.
And Joseph Petrick puts in €2 and says, remember Tyler was stabbed last week? Writers don't. A stab wound, honestly, in the future isn't that big of a deal to fix. And he was an escape pod at the end, but yeah.
It's just weird to make a big deal at last week when I even said it's going to get fixed. I mean, it's not an issue by itself. It's just if they make an issue out of it and then it's not an issue, it's like, okay. Hey, Stuart, we can fix death. I mean, it's not an issue.
Right? I know. Eugene puts in 300 rubles. I dare to say these nanites look like a founder assimilated by the Borg.
Yeah, that's good. I will say, though, I appreciate the fact that she actually can kill blast, and cause, like, I like that it can burn away your body eventually. I like that. Yeah. There is now a limit to all these it isn't just unlimited heal, unlimited power. There is a finite what you can do. Although then the fact that nanites can exist outside the body is real dangerous. And
Eric the Bat says if you kill her, you would lose her neural pathways. Not if you got to her right away.
Yeah.
You can kill her and still get in there right away. It's not like she's been sitting there for hours.
And to be fair, to counter that, he did say when Spock tried to nerve pinch him, he said, would work if I had any nerve endings. Pretty sure you need nerve endings to use your body. Like, it's all part of a system. Because the thing is, I mean, what do you need? you could reconstruct neural pathways, and the Nanites could just create ligaments. Like, they're magic things, guys. They can reanimate you in any way. This is why we've said this since day, I guess, 3 weeks ago. Not the Borg. Fun similarities, but I think that was more either accidental / yay reference. But I mean, this stuff is radically more advanced than the Nanites from, you know, because you know, if you ever got the Borg nanoprobes, you know, they would be invisible and, you know, latching on to bulkheads. They wouldn't fly through the atmosphere in a massive billions that fly to get you. Like, because if they could do that, you just make a simulation where, you know, winds of assimilation particles that are all just nanoprobes. You know, if it was this easy. So not at all Borg, not origins of the Borg. They're way more advanced than the Borg in terms of this. No, but we said that from the start. So.
And if you go to the next picture, it shows the shuttle going back to Discovery. So they did go back to the shuttle for sure.
No, that's implied to be Anson Mont coming back up, because that's coming from the planet specifically. I get why you'd say that because it felt like that, but if you watch the cut, it feels like Pike because it goes directly to Pike. I mean, it could be either, but it's a really weird like instant cut. I think 50-50 or both. It doesn't really matter, but it's weird. Since they're coming from the planet to the ship, it's like, okay, yeah.
But they're in orbit. Why wouldn't they just beam them down to the monastery? That's just anyway.
Well, why would he walk from the bottom of the monastery to the top of the monastery? Why don't you beam him to the front door? I mean, I'm sure there's a dedicated landing pad you're meant to go to out of respect. Blah blah. Or, you know, time crystals might cause temporal radiation. You can't use a shuttle. I mean, you know, all the reasons, Stuart. All the reasons.
So, yeah, here we learn that Stamets and Reno are stabilizing the crystals now, the crystals' properties. So, oh, by the way, I saw your son.
By the way.
Couldn't explain it if I tried. Tenzig, it's a good name. Ah, it is, yes. We named the little bastard. Yeah, so, good scene.
Although I can't explain, but he does explain. Like, he pretty much explains everything, give or take.
Here's the torchbearer thing. He doesn't love you anymore. He doesn't need this. Pissed off.
Well,
right?
That's not what you said, but I love Pike's acting. Like, he's still focused on the now, but he's haunted by the future. It's a very distinct line of he's still there, but he's now, you know, defined by what he's seen. I thought it was a fun performance. And I find it interesting that he specifically said raw time crystal.
Yes.
So how do you process time crystal when no one knows about them and no one, you know what I mean? There's now more steps to this process. It's a raw.
I assume the one that Mudhead was refined and whittled down to be smaller, more manageable, just little. Yeah. So
it was in a bracelet. I mean, that was already It was already a tech device. I just found it interesting that they call that raw because it implies refined is a thing. But yeah, great scene. I actually quite like this one.
Jarsa puts in $5 Canadian. They need to start using transporters to deal with control minions, beam them into the buffer, and scatter their patterns in space. There you go.
Yeah, but I can imagine they'd have, like, if they've got nanites, I'm sure they could put some sort of EM signature which could block transporters. I mean, this isn't Borg, this is uber advanced. Why wouldn't you be able to do a small EM signature? You know.
And Eugene puts in 100 rubles. Tenzig is a good name for a Vulcan.
Indeed. And then we get the epic scene, possibly, or at least a well-haunting scene after the last haunting scene. Where was the Section 31 ship going? Beyond Federation space. Ooh. What do you think that's about? Because that I thought was an interesting call-out.
Didn't catch it.
Yeah, because if the idea of control was to take Michael Burnham, then why would the ship be going to out of Federation space? Is there something there? Because if you're trying to get Michael Burnham, you'd want her to go back to Discovery. So it seems a bit of an odd thing, unless it's a red herring of it set a course randomly and then he knew he was going to take over Michael Burnham and then they have to go back. But then why go to warp at all? I think it's implying that something's out there. I mean, it must be implying something's out there. But it was like that was the split of the call out, and then this is a signal where you see this dot. This is where the ship was going, and then suddenly you see all these different signals appear, and they're all around it, which means a lot of Section 131 ships are outside of Federation space. So it's like, oh, what are they doing there? Maybe they're making a base, killing life forms. What are they doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
Anyway, 30 Section 31 ships are coming for the data. That's almost their entire fleet. We're outgunned. We need to destroy Discovery. Contact the Enterprise. We're going to evacuate Discovery. Initiate auto-destruct protocols, whatever the hell he said. So they plan on destroying the ship, evacuating the crew, and getting everybody on Enterprise and destroying the ship and the data. That's the plan. And that's where it ends. Such an abrupt ending, too. It's like...
Well, it only works if you watch the next time on, because you're teased by the promise of more.
Yeah, which we don't get here in Canada, so I had to watch that later. But
yeah, I watched it 4 or 5 times.
Straight from that to credits. Yeah, it's like wow.
Yeah, I was really absorbed in the next time on because it's a really interesting next time, which I mean you've seen, but we'll talk about that later. In a separate
and Fat
video.
Produce puts in $5.
Thank you.
I didn't realize Pike was irradiated by the Ark of the Covenant. Hashtag melting face. Don't look directly into it, Marion. Or don't open your eyes, Marion. Don't look. Yeah.
Yes. So this confused me, this scene, because Section 31, I guess they've now lost out. Their last plan was to do the sneaky way. Now they're just going to go attack them. Seems like a very... I guess they're waiting for all the ships to get infected. But as soon as they said, we're outgunned, we're outnumbered, if we keep jumping, they'll find us. I'm thinking, well, first of all, you're deep inside Klingon space, and so I doubt they can all get to you without being attacked by Klingon ships. So at least they'll be destroyed some of the ships. 2, you can spore jump anywhere in the galaxy, and they're going to chase you. So you jump to Earth, you get a fleet there, because, or you meet them somewhere, you jump around for 6 months, and because if you're the secret to the end of this, you say, right, all of the 7,000 ships left, you say, right, 1,000 of our best ships, meet us here, and we'll keep jumping around until you all meet up, and then now we're there, and then there's 31 ships come in, and now we've got all this firepower, and it's not in a battle. It just seemed weird that no one mentioned, we're part of Starfleet. Why are they doing it alone? Like in season 1, it was kind of like we're rebels and la la la, but it's like, guys, you have an entire Starfleet of ships. I understand Section 1 will be able to blow most of them apart, but say we're outgunned, it's like, so bring in the cavalry and then Spore to them? Like if the Enterprise can get to you, they can get to you too. Like it felt like a very, like, did you catch that as a like a tension breaking thing at the end? Or were you caught up in the moment?
No. I was just enjoying it, to be fair. I
guess they'll be the only ship in the quadrant. And the Enterprise will be the only ship in the quadrant. Even though there's 7,000 ships. And again, why isn't L'Rell, it's if all sentient life's going to be killed, I mean, she let the Pike go down to the most sacred planet, the most sacred secret, and now you know about it, you can go get time crystals any time you want, theoretically. She should be invested enough to send ships with them. You're in their space. They've got a fleet of Klingon ships. I mean, I'm sure there's more than 21 or 31 Klingon ships in the vicinity, especially if they all have their own house ships that are massive ships that are far bigger than Section 31 ships, which are tiny. It's just like, guys, you can muster at least 1,000 ships if you want to. It's not, you know what I mean? It was a weird anticlimactic ending once I thought about it. So yeah, that was my thought at the end there. But I love the idea of blowing up Discovery. I love the idea of destroy the data. It makes sense, although I think you're right. You postulate on our other review that because the AI inside of Discovery's data, which is the sphere, will obviously understand the blow up command and not allow them to do it. So I think that'll be an instant, crap, we can't do self-destruct. What's our next plan? I think that'll be instant.
Yeah. Fat Produce puts in $1 with no comment. Thank you. And Sean Pullen puts in 10 Canadian dollars. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't get why they were concerned with Section 31 chasing them down. Can't they just jump halfway across the galaxy with the Spore drive, like the jump to New Eden? Yeah, and the jump to here, because they Spore jumped here to the Monastery. Yep. And they even make a point of saying that to Stamets, like, hey, good, congratulations on the latest Spore jump. Thought you'd be all excited.
It's weird when they forget their own rules. Hello?
You froze. I didn't hear anything you said, but this guy. Fat Produce puts in $2. Pike's chair looks like it was designed by Apple. Kelvin much.
We'll talk about that in a separate episode. Can Spore jumps even be tracked? Yeah, no, they should be able to be, should they?
Nope. Shouldn't be able to at all.
And it's weird because I was about to say, well, okay, they'll just attack the Federation either way, but the 31 ships isn't enough to take on any of the major powers. Like, if the entire point is to get the knowledge in the ship, like, all you have to do is jump anywhere, and then you're done. Like, they can't find you, they can't chase you, they can't destroy, they can't attack Starfleet. I mean, they can build new ships, I guess, but really, how difficult would it be for nanites to, I guess, fly to a planet, infect the people, get them to build a ship? Like, you can't do it quickly. Like, what's the plan except we'll let them come to us and fight them? I think the worst thing they're doing is the plan. Yeah, that's weird. Yeah. Yeah, and special 8470 says, all those Section 31 ships invading Klingon space is going to start another war. Well, no, you just say to L'Rell, the AI we're fighting controls them. But yes, right into Klingon space.
Yes.
But this is definitely going to be the end of Section 31. I mean, not only is everyone dead, all the ships are going to get blown up, and then that's the hard reset button on Section 31, which is great.
Yes.
I mean, especially if, I would love it, like I said, if they did get more Federation ships in the battle, because then if Section 31, the actions of Section 31 killed another 10,000 people, then whoever, Cornwall will say, this entity was not worth it, Look what happened, our hubris gave us this AI, we have to, downsize to be secret. So they're definitely going to fix that thing. But yeah, so Stuart, closing thoughts then. I mean, and do you think any different now after the full scene by scene?
It's the plot points. I didn't notice them along the way. I just was enjoying the ride, so I thought it was fine. I still give it a 9 out of 10. But yeah, it was great seeing Pike in the chair. I was hoping for that when he was going into the time crystal room. I'm like, ooh, how are we going to see his future? So that was great. And his acting was, again, phenomenal. Yeah. And yeah, just overall an interesting episode. Seeing L'Rell again, didn't really care. The D7 was a nice little added bonus for this one. Hopefully we see more of it. Although, like I said, I have a feeling that next episode is just not going to be there, even though it should be right beside them in space here. But anyway, so good episode. Still give it the 9 out of 10. And looking forward to next week, absolutely, because next week has a bunch of cool stuff in it.
So this is in your top 3 of this season then?
It's up there, yeah.
Because you haven't given 3 9s yet. You've given like a 9.5, a 9, and an 8 or something. So this is like your top 3 of this year.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one.
Despite so you're saying you acknowledge the plot holes, but you enjoyed it so much you're ignoring them in your score.
Yeah, because I don't really consider them much a plot hole. They're easily just dismissed, in my opinion.
Right.
Eugene puts in 300 rubles. Plenty of bad things, but no new bad things. So I guess the episode is fine. It's funny. It got to get Lord of the Rings and same time.
Well,
okay.
No, I think we got 3 bad new things, but we have 2 amazing PayPals, like a really amazing. Todd Jenny sent 20 Canadian. Live long and prosper. You. And then another 10 from Trent Collicutt. He says, perhaps in the final episode, Kirk comes in, take control. To talk control into committing suicide.
Yeah, well, he could do it. He's one of those people that could do that to a computer or an AI, sure. And D. Gordon puts in $10 super chat. Love what you guys do. Well, thank you very much. Much appreciated. But yeah, I didn't see the plot holes much of a sticky point for me. They were just easily dismissed for me, like the whole trying to trap the computer in the startup routine. That's just an old yeah, it doesn't bother me.
See, that feels like
it's very small in the grand scheme of things.
But it feels like you should be fine with like the JJ stuff. It's like them saying, behind the aft in the cell. Oh, it's a small thing. Like it feels like if you're saying that to this.
No, it's just an error. But that's just thing as an aft in the cell.
Yeah, but this is these errors too. I mean, they're just dumb. Yeah. I mean,
Renee Stewart puts in $10 Sorry, great review, guys. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. Hey, don't think I'm complaining at you for what you think. As you know, I'm totally on board with thinking whatever you think. I think we both justify our feelings absolutely great. But for me, this is still like a 6 out of 10 because the plot holes are just big, and the entire Section 31 ship bit is absolute garbage. I'm really surprised how bad that is. Pike stuff is excellent, although the time crystal is garbage again. I'm sad they went that way. The middle scenes are fine. I like L'Rell just fine, but they've taken away most of her characterization. D7's perfect. Love it. Excellent. Spore jumps bit. But Anson Mount, sorry, I don't remember his name fully, is excellent. Pike chair, I think it's good. For what Discovery can do. It's funny, for Discovery, the Talos stuff was excellent. And the Cage stuff was excellent. You know what I mean? But the plots are so big, and the fact that, we're getting to the payoff, to the setup, and it's laying itself down again and again, where this is when clever writing all builds, and it's now falling down, it's tripping on itself with stupidity, and it's just like, you can't give them credit for that, because then you go and watch the first few episodes, and it's like, oh, they're so good, but pity it ends so bad, when we both were enjoying them, because it was promising more, we had theories, but if they can't deliver on them, it's just like, well, I mean, you didn't deliver on that. But I will say I enjoyed watching it, but doesn't mean it's not filled with holes.
Yeah, but I mean, as we talked about, all Star Trek episodes, you can find those little. That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
This one definitely had more than average.
This one, yeah, but this one you got to consider that it's not just an episodic episode; it's part of a bigger picture. So I don't really have a problem with it, because when you look at the broader scope of things, the bigger strokes, if you will, it just doesn't really make any difference. It doesn't bother me.
Well, that's why I don't like it more, because it completely relies upon the bigger narrative. It falls apart mostly because it's bigger narrative stuff. I think the last two have been major disappointments. I mean, like I say, the last one didn't like. This one I thought was fine. I'll give it a 6 because Anson Mount's acting is great. And like I say, we've got 2 more. The payoff might be even better. We haven't got to actual payoff moment. And to be fair, they might give us a dum 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 at the end, which allows them to really play with it in season 3, which is I'm intrigued about. But I just can't let bad writing when it comes to plot stuff go, because this stuff is written in. You write yourself in these corners, and you write yourself out in poor ways. The dialogue's pretty good. I'll say season 1 they had bad dialogue in a lot of places. The dialogue here is pretty on point everywhere. It's just the plot stuff, which is important, the dialogue, weirdly.
And Fat Produce puts in $2 and says, I laughed out loud when Burnham shot at the nanites. I mean, it's a desperation move, but yeah. I
was kind of absorbed. I thought that was kind of cool. Like, I thought, I would like to see them get closer, make it even more desperate, but I was kind of like, it's all she can do. She's not thinking, she's reacting, Yeah.
Oh, 2 more super chats. Troy Macy puts in $4.99.
Thank you.
This episode should have been in the middle, not the end.
I closer to the middle, I would certainly agree with that.
And Fleetpaw Swiftback puts in $10, essentially. Great review, y'all. Time Crystal was junk. Control was okay. Pike was epic. D7 was sexy as fuck. Spoken Klingon, amazing. But the bad was so bad, it brought the overall score down to 6.75 out of 10 for him. Can't wait for more. There you go.
I guess we're on the same page. But I will say, though, just like we said in episodes, if this stuff's explained in the last 2, like why Control let them on the ship? Why? Oh, shit. That's giving up next week's. I got through the episode and I started playing the trailer. Oops. If stuff is explained, if stuff, why did Control let them? Why did Control let them on board the ship? Why did Control let them go? Why did Control? All these things. If that's all explained, then in retrospect it could all be better. If time crystals all get blowed up, and there's a reason for them, and la la la. So I'll wait and see. Because you don't know until the end. Unlike season 1 where it was kind of like disjointed and whatever. This is way more wait and see. But the next one looks great. I mean, it looks really fun, and it won't have. It shouldn't have fluff. It shouldn't have padding.
It should get right into it. Yeah.
I said to you in the last 3 that they're running out of plot, so they're trying to elongate it a little bit because they only have so much they can do left. I definitely think the Sex 31 ship was we're going to pad out the plot a little bit. So you didn't need that. There's better ways they could have done that. They didn't take up half an episode. You know what I mean? So I think now, two left, it'll just be solid plot. Like, now they can actually show their cards rather than sort of pushing it a little bit further. Push a little bit further. A little bit further.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, guys, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. It was fun. So, thank you to everyone that super chats. That's awesome.
This was a really positive one.
Everyone that joined us. We had quite a few viewers at one point, so that was awesome. Expect more for the next two because it's just going to be more upon more coolness. Lots going on in the next episode, so it should be a really good one.
I mean, not to give too much away for those that haven't seen the trailer, but Pike is back on the Enterprise. And that means we're going to get some as close to TOS glory as we're going to get in this show. And, I mean, they know that they have to write that stuff so carefully. And the fact they've written Spock so well gives me so much hope that when it comes to really important stuff, you know, the essential stuff, they can write it well because they've done Spock justice. And that's hard, you know?
Yeah.
Ironically, Star Trek 09 did Spock not fully justice because you're saying, well, why don't you just take a ship, go around the sun, undo it? Like, he let Vulcan die. He's a senile old man that is given up on life. You know what I mean? It breaks his character a little bit. At least this Spock is consistent for the most part, and we're having fun watching him.
Yeah.
But guys, final thoughts from you guys. Let us know. We want your final super chats, final thoughts. You know, this is really, really helpful for the channel. Any which way makes a big difference. And you know, we're coming to the end of Discovery when you know we've been enhanced by your super chats with the extra content. Really helped us both support the channel and be able to say let's plan new things because we were having some really hard times earlier in the year before Discovery. Just because super chats weren't even a thing then, now they are, and it's time to support the channel. But we've got confidence again, haven't we, Stuart, to develop the channel and do more. And I'm excited to see what we can do after Discovery. You know?
Yes. Yeah, hopefully we can still maintain good community relations with you guys. You want to join us for our lives and hang out with us and talk about different things. We're very much looking forward to doing other things after Discovery's done. And keep in mind the Picard show's coming up, so we'll be covering those as well. Lower Decks, all this cool Star Trek goodness will be coming out. So
Yep. And it's great because each of those shows will have news, updates. You know, when they actually have the first trailer. Gosh, can you imagine Stuart, if that trailer comes out at like 2 in the morning for me, I'm going to be like, right, Stuart, I'm asleep, but we're going to do it live right now. It just launched, let's do it, because that is going to be a thing to behold. Yeah. You know?
Eugene puts in 200 rubles.
Thank you,
Is
Eugene.
the episode name a reference to In the Valley of Shadows of Death from the Bible? Yes, it is.
They love their references.
Jeff Jacobs, $3. Made 250. I pay. Good job. Thank you, Jeff. Fat Produce puts in $1. Thank you. And Jarcia puts in $5 Canadian. Last one. Do you think we'll see D7s and Starfleet ships fighting Section 31 ships together? That was our hope and our speculation because they are in Klingon space, so it makes sense for a fleet of D7s to fly in to help more so than Federation ships. But I highly doubt it. I don't think they're going to give us that. But that is the hope. That is the anticipation.
Yeah, I think they spent money building that model, and they'll get so much fan cred. So, and I mean, otherwise L'Rell gets 2 episodes, and she gets what, like 30 minutes of screen time. You know what I mean? I mean, she wasn't in season 1 like that much. You know, that much. She made an impression. She wasn't in it necessarily that much, but she's certainly been underserved this season. Although it's helped the focus of the show. You know, it's weird because we wanted that sort of split arc. Didn't get it really.
Yeah.
But I think my guess is that we're gonna get Enterprise for some reason, just the Enterprise. I would hope 1 or 2 other ships with them. Like I would hope that would be an obvious thing. And also, you need red shirts. You need red shirt ships to blow up. Otherwise, yeah, seriously. Otherwise, if you're just having shield impacts, then there's not going to be.
Well, they should have all the old Klingon ships to be the red shirts. Or is that what you said?
No, Federation ships. It needs to be the Federation.
No, pull in the old Klingon ships with a few D7s and have the old Klingon ships be destroyed as a here guys, you know you hate these designs, so there you go.
I mean, that's what Justin Lin did for the JJ Prize. He was like, I hate this design. We're going to blow it up a movie and make a proper one.
T-Berg sci-fi fan. Cling on to your hope, Captain. A new hope. That's funny. Troy Macy puts in $4.99 with no comment. Thank you. And Super Coops puts in £2. Just because. Thanks for the content, guys. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Super Coops. Super Coop. Language.
Thanks, Spore, guys.
You know, this new body that I got, this Captain Foley, doesn't know how to speak. Oh, did I give away too much?
No, I'll edit out in post. It's fine.
Okay, good. Yeah. We can't let them know our plan after all.
World domination. They'll all burn.
Universal domination.
The fires of Mordor. You don't even get it, do you?
I get it. I just don't care.
But I think what we're going to have is, and I hope, Enterprise comes in with 2 to 3 of the smaller, older ships, because they have a red shirt fleet, which is fine. And then that's the fleet of Federation ships. They're the battle, Discovery and those ships. They all get destroyed. Discovery and Enterprise survive. And as the battle is turning to the enemy's side, you see 3 to 5 D7s warp in. The classic epic hero shot come in. We've seen other sci-fis at infinitum. And you get a sense of how powerful they are. And then they help them win the battle. And then once the fleet is diminished, maybe one ship warps away towards some other plan, the backup plan, whatever, and that's when the time stuff comes in, or That's a version. I think is very, because I mean it's an obvious thing, too obvious probably. But I mean, if you've made these D7s, why not use them for maximum impact? You know,
yeah.
And then for trailers, if you're going to sell it internationally, then you can cut to epic D7s firing torpedoes and being epic. I mean, that's trailer bait. You know, for this season on Discovery, cool things that would get old fans excited. You know, it's such an obvious thing. And Zarkon D. Grissom says even some D5s and D4s would be great. And I mean, certainly, although they're 100 years old, I mean, you wouldn't see them. And they've already committed obviously to their other designs.
They're not going to do that. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see any more D7s either. But who knows? I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Be cool to see an epic fleet battle of some sort.
See, it's funny.
Kind of on the level of the Dominion War.
Well, yeah, better than the first episode. So it's funny, for this one, I'm hope, you're realism. Whereas the episode, I was realism, you were hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
It swaps. It just swaps as it goes. You know, we all feel different things on different things.
Oh man, season finally.
Oh yeah, although Necro on Blur says basically how Stuart, just the fans, because when we talked about it right at the start, but how are we going to link into Runaway? I said, well, no, we are going to link to Runaway because they're at the planet with Runaway. But that's we already talked about that. But are they going? How will this link into the future short? Because we've got 2 episodes left, and assuming they're both like 52, 55 minutes, we've got about 2 hours of content. How will that short link in, or are they going to ignore it? What do you think? Because we'll know by the next episode.
They're going to evacuate and try to destroy Discovery, but because the data isn't letting itself be deleted, it's not going to allow the ship to be destroyed and therefore gone. So they're going to have to find a way to get the ship somewhere safe, probably by a spore jump, which means Stamets might have to go with it, to somewhere obscure in the galaxy. And it's going to have to sit there and wait 1,000 years until, because we know that the Red Angel is 950 years in the future. So she needs a time crystal. They just got a time crystal. Leave the time crystal on the Discovery, send the ship somewhere, have it sit for 1,000 years, somehow get a message to her mother where the time crystal is so that the suit can get repowered and come back. Now, is that all going to happen within the next 2 episodes, or is that going to be the cliffhanger of the season finale that the Discovery is basically waiting for 1,000 years? Also, Runaway ties in because the planet's named in the preview there, and she can recrystallize dilithium, the girl that's Tilly met. So it could be that because the ship has to wait 1,000 years, there's no way that dilithium would last that long, so they have to find a way to recrystallize it, so they have to go visit her. There's so many things that could happen, but it's cool they're tying in all the little Discovery shorts with the main storylines this season. So who knows what's going to happen. But if that's correct, then Stamets has to jump with the ship because they got to put the ship somewhere safe where Control can't get it, and it can basically sit for 1,000 years, and that's where the AI marinates and becomes intelligent on Discovery. And I think it's going to be a battle of the AIs at the end. Discovery's going to come back through time, maybe with the help of the Red Angel. Maybe she hooks up the suit to Discovery, and it comes back, and there's two Discoveries, and the super intelligent AI of Discovery that's evolved over 1,000 years, that's all into love and friendliness, which is going to be part Arium because she downloaded her consciousness. That's going to have to fight Control, and they're going to cancel each other out and die. And then you feel bad for Discovery because it had actual personality, and that'll be sad.
It's funny, we already had this conversation obviously earlier, and so that was kind of the consensus we pulled at the end there, so I'm going to say yes. No, definitely AI versus AI makes a lot of sense. And will we see Mudd? Nope, he's not in this season anymore. He confirmed that weeks ago. He's not in this season. Again. Well, he's not in this season at all, I guess. Sorry, he's not in this season at all.
But the point is, they got to put Discovery somewhere safe where Control can't find it, and it can sit for 1,000 years. So that's going to require a Spore jump to somewhere, and I think that means Stamets is aboard. So does Stamets go with the ship and die essentially? And then I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they play it.
Well, as you've already said, shuttles can warp anywhere as fast as you want. So Hugh and him stay together, and Burnham, because she's the savior of the universe, and they just warp jump back home.
Yeah.
And if we're going to start using the Discovery logic, then they just walk back home, and then they know that timelines will be changed anyway. So Control. The thing is, if Control never finds the ship, it never gains sentience, I guess, because it is always harping on about the black and white. Once I gain this knowledge, I'll become the truest life form of sentience. It's like, okay, will you? Okay, what? What? Yeah. I do think though that this episode probably is a little bit too late in the season. That they did spend too much of the season on Spock. He's not as crucial as he was led to believe to be.
Well, he was there to lead people on for the next episode, the next episode, the next episode, waiting to see their beloved Spock, and to get people that have hated season one to kind of come on board. He was used as a lure and a bait to get them to the next episode, and hopefully they're invested by now that they'll still watch. That's kind of the vibe I got.
Yeah, but it needed two less. Need two less. I don't know. So yeah, I guess he wants to be the final super chat of the day.
Who wants to win the prize of giving us more money for the last super chat?
Thank you. No, you guys have been amazing today. Really helps.
Oh yeah,
we've had a wonderful support today, and it really does help. Because for example, last week we helped the Demons fan film to talk about alternate universes, but not as many of you joined or super chatted, so that was a bit of a bad one for us. But it helped support them, and that film project definitely worth supporting. So we took a hit to help out one of the community. So you guys have helped us rebalance that.
Are you showing the preview from next week already?
Not trying to, but it is at the end. There's a couple of stills at the end of the slideshow, so it kind of goes into that automatically. But no, not trying to. No, I keep trying to jump on when I see it's happening, but yeah, thanks for a cool chat, and you'll see a video tomorrow, next day, and all the days. No, we'll have a few more.
T-Rex Sci-Fi fan says my Spock bait brings all the geeks to the yard. No, it should be my Spock bait brings all the Trekkies to Discovery, and that's why it's cooler than anyway. Yeah, you gotta change those lyrics a little bit, but yes, Spock bait.
Fun.
Yeah, and hopefully we see Spock in the blue uniform on Enterprise Bridge, getting off the turbo lift, shaved at the end. Either if it's in the next episode where he goes across with Pike, or if it's just at the last episode where they leave, where Pike and the Enterprise take off.
Yeah.
So
I think nice. Yeah, they'll save that for the final end of, I think, still. Like, so as I said in our other review, that he didn't wear. Well, I think in this review, I guess he didn't wear the uniform for one of the movies, so it's kind of, I guess he's still on vacation technically. Although it's weird though, how long has passed in this season? Like, it's very nebulous. Has it been days, weeks, months? Because I can't see Spock being allowed to be on Discovery for like 2 months and not be in uniform. Like, you know, if Hugh
Maybe.
already rejoined, got in uniform, has been serving, Spock would feel obligated the same.
Jet Reno did say that when Hugh came in, she said, "I thought you guys had settled this. He moved out weeks ago."
Oh yeah, it's true.
So I'm expecting probably a month and a half at the most has transpired through all this. Which would make sense for repairs as well.
From when to when? From
the beginning of the season till now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because if he moved out weeks ago, he didn't come back instantly.
Yeah. Well, that was episode 5, I believe.
Yeah, and you got to think of the repair schedule for Enterprise too. Like you said, what's it doing? Just hanging out around Earth, just all fixed up? No, it's only a month is a good repair time, depending on what kind of engines damage it needed, or systems damage because of the whole holographic.
And also, if you take out the need to actually travel between star systems, if every single travel takes seconds, or like hours rather than days, because I mean, just getting from place to place takes days. You know, Enterprise it took weeks. Even at Warp 7, it still takes a week plus. But I assume we're just taking that out of the equation, making the universe JJ sized. So maybe like a month for the first half of the season and a month for the second half. So pre-Hugh month and post-Hugh month. Well, I wouldn't think Pike would necessarily love the crew within 2 months, despite the amount of cool stuff happening. I feel like that's underselling his like for the crew. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel this is its own live though. This one's already gone almost. It's 2.5 hours, so let's not just keep speculating. We got 2 more super chats, and we'll close it out.
Perfect.
Fleet Pass Swiftback puts in $1.99. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Austin puts in $5 Canadian. Thank you very much. Thanks for the awesome content. Did you catch the Enterprise bridge in next week's preview? Yes, we did. And we will be talking about that. Don't worry. That's our forte. We will have a video separately on that.
I even suggested doing a possible full Trekyards live about that next week, because that's a massive topic, and it'd be fun to talk about it.
And Jill Wright puts in $2. Tyler was on Kronos for 6 months, finale to season...
Yes.
Till episode 3.
Yes. Yes. Thanks, Jill. So, several months between. Alright guys, we'll have a great evening. Thanks so much. We love you all. And look at the content for the weekend. We make it just for you guys. And you're going to go out for some steak, Stuart. And I'm going to finish Sunday's edit. And
yes.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.